see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
Two teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirm. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
And finally, the 2023 NFL trade deadline is here. The fellas will keep you updated on the latest moves right here on the airwaves, and as always over at SactownSports.com and on that Sactown Sports app.
Let's get it.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome in to Stiles and Watkins.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes, it is. Got the intro going.
You hear that?
We got
like we're official at this point.
I'm scared of you guys. Woo!
Like a referee whistle. And, we're going to have a couple other intros, too. We're just going to run the option on intros. I want a different intro for every week. Taking back to baseball, I was very much into, I spent a lot of time on my walk-up
your
songs.
walk-up song.
It is very important.
For sure.
And actually, before the World Series ends, we should go around, figure out what would be your walk-up song.
Great one.
If you, game's on the line, right? We need a base knock. We need a walk-off. We need something from you. What would be your walk-up song? Welcome into Stiles and Watkins on this Halloween. And we have some people in costumes here. We have some people too lazy like myself.
Yeah, me too.
And there's a lot to talk about. James Harden, he gone. And we don't know if we care. We're trying to figure that out. He's with the Clippers now. And how much help does Paul George need? I don't know, and I don't know that it's enough. All I know is that James Harden has been the only person, one of the only people to logistically and just destroy every contract he's been a part of.
Yeah.
He is the bratty kid that always gets his way because the parents, a la the NBA, doesn't want to deal with him.
They never check him. Yeah, they never
You can't check him.
Yeah. It's too late at this point.
It's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. When I got in trouble, it got to a point where your parents would hit your hand, right? And if my mom hit my hand, once I got a little bit older, it didn't bother me. But if Pops got a hold of it, it was a problem. Nobody has ever checked James Harden, and nobody's going to check him, and I don't even know how good he is. So we got to talk about James Harden, Davante Adams.
Get that man some. You want to talk about how much help does someone need?
I can't, man.
Get that man someone.
I can't.
Please.
I can't.
Please.
We have sound from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport on Davante Adams and whether he will be moved because the trade deadline, got to be careful here with Central Time versus Pacific, ends at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll
be live.
All of that going on in case the Niners decide to do something. We also have some sound from Shams talking about the Kings. Do they have enough certain trades? And yes, that guy that Chris keeps throwing into trade generators did come up So we have that as well. The trade deadline, like I talked about. And our guy, one of the most polarizing figures in sports media. You know him, you either love him or you hate him. I'm not going to say his name, but he said some very, very interesting things about the Kings and where they sit as far as the best basketball teams, NBA teams in California. So we're going to get into that as well. Chris Watkins, and also it's Halloween. We're talking favorite candy, favorite scary movies, the best Halloween costume you've ever had. Mm-hmm. Chris Watkins, how you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. It was a late night trying to figure out or just wait, I guess, for the James Harden official, the players that were actually dealt out. Had to wait a good amount of time for that. Literally right as I was about to put my phone down and everything, I get the tweet notification. James Harden's been traded at 11 p.m. on the dot. And I'm like, all right, well, now I got to at least, normally that stuff comes out within minutes. I think we had to wait like 25 or 30 minutes before the official news all came out and everything like that. So, it's a good day. I love when the NBA is more active on a trade deadline and the NFL trade deadline than the NFL actually is. So love NBA action and love when people are getting moved, but it's just unfortunate that it's James Harden.
Yeah, and I don't know
and
what
of course
to do.
It's to the Pacific Division.
Exactly, because why not? Just bring everybody.
Yeah, no, the Pacific Division was pretty. A lot of people were saying the Pacific Division was by far the least talented and easiest division. So it's good that they finally put some sort of talent in this division.
40% of the All-Stars from the Western Conference are going to be from the Pacific Division.
I feel like that's short selling.
It's crazy.
I really feel like that's short selling.
It's insanity. So James Harden. We'll get into that a little bit more when we come back from the break. But, also, I did want to bring up something that you brought up to me with this Sam Amick article a little later in the show when we go Hardcore Kings. He's talking about something that could be an issue, right? Because you talked about De'Aaron Fox wanting to come back in the game, but he had already played at least.
Right.
But at the same time, the incentive for these guys, because of the incentives in their contracts, and for those of you who may not know, when you were an all-star in Little League or whatever the case was, you didn't get anything extra. These guys, they actually do, right? A lot of these contracts, they get bonuses if they're all NBA. They get bonuses if they make an all-star team. And because of these new rules where you have to play a certain amount of games, some of these guys, I don't think a Kawhi Leonard would care very much, or Paul George. Well,
some of
disrespect.
Them, some of them have things where you can't unlock like a super max unless you're an all NBA player, and you can't be an all NBA. Like, it's just a trickle down of, you could be affecting hundreds of millions of potential dollars. Like John Morant this season has already affected the fact that he's not going to be all NBA this year because he's going to be suspended for 25 games. That's going to affect the extension he's going to get next time. And that's going to probably cost him somewhere near around $100 million. And it's just because he's not going to play the requisite amount of games. And it brings up the question, like you were saying, could this potentially be more damning than it is helpful for NBA guys? Because frankly, a lot of these guys do care a lot about their money still. Like, it's not just about love of the game. Of course, they're playing it for millions of dollars as well. Will they opt to go for that money long term? Like, hey, if I just can play through this injury this year, make all NBA, sign that mega deal, that's all that matters, is that I'm healthy for this year. It doesn't matter if I'm healthy for the duration of that contract. That money is signed, sealed, delivered. All I got to do is make it healthy to this year. And what does that mindset change, if there is any change? What does that do for guys like De'Aaron Fox, who will play through injury and potentially further injure his ankle because he's not, I don't think De'Aaron's doing it because of the financial incentives, but even if it is because he's trying to play as many games to help his team make the playoffs, is that good? Like, I think it's obviously, we'd love to see it from the competitive angle, but is it good for De'Aaron long-term? And obviously what's good for De'Aaron long-term is also good for the Kings long-term. So it's just an interesting conundrum that the NBA might have accidentally slipped into.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to fix. It already seems like it's going to hurt more than it's going to help, because we've already seen a bunch of dudes sit, right? There's already
Devin
people.
Booker's already
Devin Booker's missed 2 games, right?
Embiid rested.
During a home game. So they tried to solve an issue, and all they've done is possibly created another problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is not ideal. So we'll break all that down a little bit later in the show. Halloween, and welcome in Simone as well. Simone, you got to help us here. And I feel bad.
We got to help the listening audience.
You got to help the listening audience. Yeah, maybe someone can guess. Why don't you describe it?
I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I'm trying to be compliant. It's still work, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are definitely still at work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is just more of this is French Simone, I give you.
Okay.
That's it. Just French Simone.
Yeah.
Not Simone's Emily in Paris or anything like that.
Yep. I got a.
Are you going to talk
one of
with
our
a French
listeners?
accent?
No, I can't. That's too much. That's too much. Oh, wait. No.
What? Yeah.
One of our
No.
listeners
Cut
from
that.
France gave me this jersey. He shipped it over here, so I'm wearing my French jersey
So,
and
people
Kylian
can't see you,
Mbappe
obviously.
and a baguette back here and a cigarette, and it's
baguette?
great.
Wow.
Wow.
A baguette.
Yeah. And the red hair. I feel like we're sleeping on the fact
Right.
that Simone just
My
has a red
Yeah.
wig
I don't
on.
think anyone can see me. It's too dark in here, but yeah.
Wow.
So just a little
Well, there's
something.
no
something,
listening.
Yeah.
and look, I'm all about the low effort costumes
Yeah.
with high effects.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm into. That same Halloween party that I went to this weekend, she went full face paint, right?
Uh-oh.
Then also put I don't know where she got it from, but put like the contraption, I don't know if it's gel or whatever. She was Snape from Harry Potter and looked like fully all in.
Yeah.
All in.
All
in.
cap,
Bald,
everything.
the cap,
Oh wait, never
everything.
mind.
No, he's got hair.
I'm
He's
confusing.
got-
No,
I'm not a Harry Potter girl,
sorry.
sorry.
I know I had it wrong. Voldemort.
Okay,
Now
yeah,
that makes
that's
a
what I
lot
thought
more
you were
sense. That
doing.
makes a
Okay,
lot more
all
sense.
right, yeah.
Say that on these airwaves.
Yeah,
dog. You better
sorry.
Be careful.
It's safer to say Voldemort than Trey Lance most of the time. So, wow, yeah. Well, Simone, thank you for doing it.
Of course.
Thank
Chris,
you for showing spirit.
Chris, your
Simone.
crew is pretty saucy, I must say.
Thank you. I
Chris is
appreciate
rocking
it.
for those listening. He's got this
I
Nike
do.
crew sweatshirt.
I like it a
It's
lot.
pretty saucy. It's pretty crispy. So
Appreciate
I'm
it.
happy.
You did a
Appreciate the
touch of
clearance
Halloween. I see your
That's
shirt
right.
says "Real Monsters."
Yes, it's
Real
Real
monsters.
Monsters.
Okay.
Do you not? Is that you never?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Sorry.
Nickelodeon. That's
Wait.
like
Wait. You don't know
Sorry.
Real Monsters?
Okay, I have
Did you
to
not
be-
get down with Nickelodeon?
Yeah, my parents were weird, dude. I'm
Okay.
from Portland.
No,
they didn't
yeah.
have like a TV, and it was like, it was a long time until I got to see.
That makes
Authentic
a lot.
shows.
That makes a lot.
And
more
then now
sense.
I'm obsessed with TV.
So
just
where does like
lean
your
in.
TV journey start?
Late 90s.
I think you should know All Real Monsters.
I think you should.
Okay. I received
That's
that.
your homework.
I received that, and I'll do it.
That's your
today.
homework. You know
That was a
Goosebumps?
very
Yes, I
interesting
do.
Show.
Then you should know All Real Monsters.
Okay. I did get in a lot of trouble. We were doing a guessing game on the Carmichael Dave show, and I'd blurted out Animorphs for a
Simone.
yeah.
I remember this.
yeah, and then they didn't believe me that was a real show. So
Oh,
I
no,
know
it is.
Animorphs.
Yeah, Animorphs.
yeah, I
And
don't
those
know.
books too. I read those
Real
books.
monster.
I read those books.
Yes.
Simone was
Read.
Yeah, I
I'm
read.
picking up what
You
you're
got
putting
it.
down.
I read those
Wasn't an
books.
audiobook.
I just had to. One more time. All right. Got to
not
get
do
to a
that.
break. When we get back, we are breaking down James Harden. And I have a cautionary tale for our guy from Palo Alto High that is now struggling in Las Vegas. Davante, we'll talk about you soon. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
It's amazing how a short drive can make an incredible difference when you buy a Mercedes-Benz. Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton invites you to take advantage of a special certified pre-owned Mercedes finance rate of 3.09% for up to 36 months. October is a great month to consider buying a pre-owned Mercedes. See why our customers come back year after year, generation after generation. Your best Mercedes-Benz car buying experience ever awaits you at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, mbofstockton.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Had to let it drop. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Fourth official show. Ooh. You didn't think I would forget. Four is my favorite number, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Was that your baseball number? What number?
It was my baseball number. It was my baseball number because I had, 4 women in my life growing up. My grandma, I lived with my grandma.
Hey, man, college experience is different.
All right.
It was very sweet. Then I needed to U-turn in my mind because I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, because French Simone is just all over the place here. You know, just going crazy back in the booth. But no, my mother, my grandmother lived with us, and then I have 2 sisters. So that's what I went with. And that's always been the number. So the 4th show, it's got to be a good show for me.
No, it's going to be the best show.
You know? So, I don't know. That was,
Well, the best show so far.
Well, Carmichael Dave, I mean, just coming in.
I was like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
First of all, why are we even talking?
Yeah.
We just
normally. First off, Dave, you didn't listen?
Yeah.
What are you talking
about, bro?
Like,
exactly. And
first things first.
Just out of nowhere. Good show?
Good show? Question mark?
Run it back, Dave. Go listen on YouTube.
Yeah,
we got you. We got you. All right. Someone who's not running it back with the 76ers, that's James Harden. And James Harden from the Houston, from the lemon pepper wings to the burger to places he likes to frequent that we will not get into as well, to the fat suits, to everything with James Harden. Now he's on the Clippers. And to be honest, I think when we have conversations about James Harden, I probably undersell him a bit because he bothers me. It feels like you still think he is I don't know, is he elite or is he very good, above average? I don't know where James Harden falls at this point in his career.
I think when he first arrives somewhere, as he is here in with the Clippers, I think he'll be a really good fit. He usually, people forget, like, James Harden is a skilled basketball player. Like, he's arguably one of the best scorers that we have in this generation of basketball players right now. The numbers he's been able to put up are absolutely ridiculous. Of course, it has all came at the expense of being a good teammate for the most part. A lot of people haven't enjoyed playing with James Harden. Standing in the corner and watching him dribble the clock out isn't the most enjoyable experience for most guys. But he also led the league in assists last year. He's shown the propensity to kind of be a chameleon, especially when he's playing with other stars that he actually respects. He can run the offense. We've obviously seen his scoring ability as well. The defensive end of things is definitely his biggest shortcoming, but he's somebody who can definitely make that Clipper team dangerous if all things are clicking. The problem is, as you just so beautifully put, James Harden has been all over the place, and more times than not, even if it works out for 5 months, even if it works out for a year, even if it works out for 2-3 years, eventually these things go sour, and it just feels like that Clipper situation is just asking to go south. Like, when you have Kawhi Leonard, who plays 50% of games, you have Paul George, who is great. I love Paul George. Paul George is almost like the Klay Thompson of that team, where it's like, I've got nothing bad to say about Paul George, except for the fact he, frankly, as well, has came upon some injuries that have kept him out in really important times for that team. And then you have Russell Westbrook. People can't forget that Russell Westbrook is still on this team as well.
Yeah.
It's just a really weird collection of guys. And I think James will, again, enter the situation with a positive attitude. He got what he wanted in the long run. He's going to be with some stars. He won't have to have the entire pressure of winning on his back completely. But at the same time, when playoff time comes around and shots are at a premium and shots are also at a minimum, I just think that it's going to be a really tough task for these guys to come together, because at the end of the day, if you tell me James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George are on the same team, mentally it doesn't really click. Those pieces don't really seem to complement each other. It's more just, okay, yeah, that's a really, really good collection of talent, but that doesn't always work out.
So with all that being said, are you moved?
No, I don't think so. I don't think the Clippers are any more scary of a team now than they are before, because they still have tons of questions, and all those questions still very much exist. Like if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George aren't healthy, the team's not winning. James Harden is not going to be good enough to elevate that team to possibly win a series with those guys out. He still needs Kawhi and at least one of Kawhi or Paul George to be healthy for them to even have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cop-out on my end, but I got to see it first.
No, that's
right.
Absolutely. I think that's where most people should be. I don't think anyone should feel positively about it. Like, I don't think anyone should feel like, oh my gosh, the Clippers definitely just made a huge run at being a contender. I think it's way too early for that.
Well, and the whole thing was, after seeing James Harden, he turned it on once or twice in the playoffs and he turned back the clock. But Joel Embiid and the Sixers, they thought they were getting that guy, not all the time, but more often than they got that guy. They got an above average point guard, right? With scoring wise and facilitating wise, that is not good on defense, right? And also is a pain, a headache, right? So I don't really know. I think he'll fit because of who they already have, but it's a bit of a mess. I don't know how much Harden and Westbrook will play together. I don't know how much they can play together. We'll see what happens. The Clippers, they're just, and somebody said, speaking of the Clippers and what the Clippers had to give up in order to get James Harden, the Clippers are in a complete mess, right? They are, their future is a complete disaster. They have no picks. They're stuck. And they are weirdly thinking that they're going all in. Maybe they do. It's just the amount of times they're sitting here just thinking, if we all are good 1 year, when they were all good, if I'm not mistaken, in the bubble when they lost. They had both those.
Western Conference Finals.
They had both those guys in Kawhi and Paul George, and they couldn't get it done. So you add Russell Westbrook, who he's learned to play his role more, and whatever is left of James Harden, and it's giving a little over the hill, but possibly if everything works out correctly, you saw that clip of Jordan Poole yesterday where he just
where he dribbled. It's just Jordan Poole is actually like a joke.
And I saw a tweet that said 2 years ago this guy was the second option on a championship team,
right?
In the Warriors, and the Warriors really. We don't know what's going to happen to Jordan Poole. He's still young, but the Warriors, at least that year, 2022, they caught lightning in a bottle and they made it happen.
Yeah.
That is where the Clippers are at. If we could just catch everything perfectly one time, then we can get it done. But the chances of that happening, I think at this point, we've seen it over. You're just adding more older guys with a propensity to get injured.
You know what? This is just giving me a lot of memories of is like those mid 2000s Brooklyn Nets teams with like old KG, old Paul Pierce. You got old Darren Williams, and it's just they're gonna try, like you said, they're just gonna try and make it for one. Like they're just trying to get one good run out of this thing, and they might, or they probably won't. What I think this is really more so about. I don't think this is about winning a title. I really don't. I feel like this is honestly more of a move because the Los Angeles Clippers are opening a brand new basketball stadium next year in Inglewood, California, and they're going to try and sell that place out. I mean, that's really what it is. Like the Clippers obviously have shared Staples Center or whatever they want to call it nowadays with the Lakers for years. I think ever since they've moved to LA, they've shared a stadium. This is their chance to kind of finally claim their stake of land, or what Steve Ballmer feels like they can claim a stake of land. And the biggest way of doing that is being the place in LA that has tons of stars, and you can go and maybe you can see LeBron and AD, but you can also go see four guys that in Russ and James and Paul George and Kawhi, that those are like, if not all four are playing on a given day, you're at least going to get three, and then whoever else they're playing. So to me, this is a lot more about business. It's a lot more about marketing, and less so about hey, let's do the best possible move for the Clippers to win a championship. Because frankly, I think the best move for the Clippers to win a championship is to keep those depth pieces that they just shipped off.
Yeah.
Like Marcus Morris isn't great. Robert Covington isn't great. But at the same time, those are two veteran guys who have been in a lot of playoff situations. And I would much rather have those guys and just have general depth than go all in for a guy that we've never seen have really any playoff success.
Yeah, Robert Covington is the Tommy Pham of the NBA. He's on a different team.
Yes,
every single year.
Yeah.
Man,
back to the Sixers now.
Back to the Sixers now. So we're going to get into it a little bit more later in the show, but your initial thoughts when people say, and we do this every time somebody demands a trade, could this be bad for the league?
No, because this James Harden just feels like his own. Well, actually, no, I'll turn that around, because the fact that James Harden actually did end up getting what he wants, I think is just a bad sign. The fact that this is now back-to-back times when, specifically in Philadelphia as well, where guys have said, I'm just not going to play because I'm not happy here and I would very much like to be in a different situation. That's not supposed to work out. Like you said up top with your parenting example, like at some point you're supposed to get slapped on the wrist and understand that, look, like, it's not that you're not physically capable of doing it. You're more than everybody's capable of making their their wants known, but you can't just go out and forcefully do it without being checked. And I think the fact that he just hasn't been checked all these times, and Ben Simmons and James Harden now have both gotten exactly what they wished for, I think it's just shows that and Damian Lillard as well. Like it just shows that just wait out your time. Like, even if it doesn't happen immediately, if you make your displeasure known, you'll get what you want at some point. You just got to kind of wait it out. And it's honestly more ball in the court of the teams. And this is bad for the NBA because you look at what the Sixers just got for, I mean, I know James Harden is up there in age, but for a guy who was, again, led the NBA in assists last year and I don't think he made all NBA, but was really close to making all NBA. And you got him for 3 veterans and 2 pretty much end of the first round picks. It's just not a good sign for franchises. Like, it's great for players. Players, again, they're player empowerment. They're going to get what they want if you really want it. But for teams, for small markets, especially like Portland, again, is taking an L with this Dame situation. But let's just hypothetically say this happens with De'Aaron Fox. What's to stop if De'Aaron really wants to go to LA or go back to Texas or something like that? What's 5 years from now? What's to stop him from feeling like he doesn't have the right to do so? To ask out.
It's just a matter of time. And,
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, we got to get to a break. I will give my thoughts on this as well later in the show. When we get back, a cautionary tale featuring Davante Adams. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Tuesday. It's also Halloween. Look for mostly sunny skies this afternoon and light winds. Afternoon highs will peak in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it. Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call, then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite.
Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slow. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
Two teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirm. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
And finally, the 2023 NFL trade deadline is here. The fellas will keep you updated on the latest moves right here on the airwaves and as always over at SactownSports.com and on that Sactown Sports app.
Let's get it.
A warm reminder on this crisp Halloween morning that all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to more Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. Fourth official show, and it's a Halloween special on this Tuesday. What's the cutoff, you think? I know everybody asks this, but what is the actual cutoff for trick-or-treating?
Great question. Probably I would say 7th or 8th grade, nearing high school.
What?
It feels like nearing high school. I feel like
I'd love for my high schooler to trick or treat. No. Instead of going to a party.
I mean, as a parent, for sure.
Yeah.
But kids.
So you're saying you would if a high schooler came up to you and was like, trick or treat, you wouldn't give them candy
No,
if they
I don't
came to
have
your
any
door?
problem. I don't have problems giving candy. I just feel like as a person in general, when does the excitement of trick-or-treating wear off? That's more what I was going for. If a 17-year-old comes up to my door and asks for candy, I'll definitely look at them questionably, but I'll probably give them some Skittles.
I think let's meet in the middle here.
Okay.
Just like Maren Morris.
Yes.
Get
Hey
it?
now.
And it's basically junior year. Is not
that just feels
sophomore
so
year.
late.
Freshmen, sophomores, you're still innocent.
Maybe when I
young.
have kids, my opinions will change on
junior
age.
year, you are varsity now. Junior year, you're not trying to trick or treat. You're driving as well. Freshman, sophomore year, I think there's still some trick or treaters.
I think it's fine too, but I think again, the point in which it should start to be considered a cutoff would probably be around 13 or 14.
So, okay, let me ask you this then. That's wild to me because what are you supposed to do?
All I'm learning is Alan apparently was trick or treating until his junior year.
I was too.
Tonight. I'm trick or treating tonight. I need my kid size Snickers.
Can probably get away with
wow.
it. You know what I'm saying?
He hit you with the zone.
Come on.
Wow, that is just wildly
really
disrespectful. But that was actually well done. That was well done. I'll take it because I'm proud. I'm proud.
Yeah, you're very proud.
That's right. So, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, but that's what I'm saying though. You're cutting it off 13, 14. What do you want them kids to do?
I'll just chill at home, watch scary movies.
Chill at home.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's
watch
see
some scary movies.
Let's just put it out there. 916-339-1140. Text line, YouTube chat. What should be the cutoff age for trick-or-treating? Chris says...
I would say high school.
Chris says 11.
I did not say 11. I said high school. I would say if you're entering high school, you should definitely start to consider.
So 14.
Yes, I would say 14.
That's
I would say
wild.
14 is a good cutoff.
Simone?
I had to hit him with a high hater.
No, I definitely think as long as you're living under your parents' house, it's all good to go. You can do
That's a
it.
dangerous cutoff.
Really?
That could be no cutoff. You could have 35-year-old dudes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now that I hear
can
it
roast my
back.
sister here, but I'm going to be the bigger person.
You should. As you publicly say it.
She could be trick-or-treating right now. I'll put it like
I mean, I feel like I really don't have a problem with the cutoff, but it's more just like I feel like at high school, like the pressures start, it's like, like are you a baby? Like you're going to go trick or treat? It's more of just like, that's when peer pressure really starts to set in. And again, I would heavily consider more so you don't, possibly catch some strays from some hormonal teenagers. There.
Yeah. So this is actually really a really polarizing question. My answer would be 16.
Yeah.
Because I just think at that point is when you have stuff better to do.
Someone says in the chat here, so this is also key as well. Like teenagers, if they are going to show up to the door, you have to be in costume. Like you can't just do the we're just trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a soccer player.
Yeah.
I have soccer pants
piece of paper.
on.
No, even if you're with your younger sibling.
Yes.
You can't I'm just taking them out. Okay, well then they're the ones getting candy.
Exactly.
Not
exactly.
you.
Yes.
All right.
Gotta lay down the law. You do have to be very assertive at the door. That's something I did not know until I was like, on the other side of it, is that, like you really do have to be like, sorry, like here's you only get 2 pieces and sorry,
right,
you can't have where's your costume at?
Was there an area it was the area by me was Crystal Ranch, right? Crystal Ranch was where the rich houses were, and they're the ones that gave out the king size candy bars. Was there an area where everybody said, yo, you got to go there? That's where they really get it popping.
I would go when we were kids. We would go all the way out to this place called Rancho Marietta, which I'm sure some people are familiar with. That's like a whole community and all
Very
that stuff.
affluent.
Yeah,
it sounds affluent.
But I believe East Sac would be the place, like the Fab 40s. Oh, you probably haven't even experienced the Fab 40s.
No.
The Fab 40s are like the nicest places in Sacramento.
Okay.
It's like it's not mid. I guess it's in East Sac. It's
Yeah.
in Midtown, but
okay.
That would probably be the one. It's got massive streets, massive houses, and I assume massive candy bars as well.
Very iconic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from the country. I'm from Elk Grove. Represent.
Same.
So there's there's a certain neighborhoods you could go to that were more affluent as well, and you get the big candy bars. But it ain't no thing.
It ain't no thing. It ain't no thing.
Yep.
Well, it is a thing with Davante Adams and what's going on with the Raiders.
Oh my goodness.
And I just want to say this, man.
All tricks, no treat.
This is very good. This is a cautionary tale. A lot of people in life, they make decisions based on emotion.
Mm-hmm.
They make decisions based on relationships.
Yes.
Sometimes it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't. You cannot make decisions based on emotion. You cannot make decisions based on friendships, relationships, because those things can change. Davante Adams, and we love him, Palo Alto High, was a wide receiver with Jock Peterson, goes on to play for his favorite team, the Raiders, with his buddy from Fresno State.
Best buddy.
And we have all these weapons. We have Darren Waller. We have Hunter Renfrow. We have Josh Jacobs. We're going to turn things around. And it couldn't have gone worse for Davante Adams.
Mm-hmm.
So the report is now, you would think that, okay, now that the Raiders are stuck, they can't really do too much. Davante Adams came there. He gave it a good college try. Yeah. He really wanted this to work.
This is not a Randy Moss situation.
No, he wanted this to work, and it's just not working. And Davante Adams is slamming his helmet on the bench yesterday. And you know what comes out? That a month ago, he went to the Raiders and asked, would they be interested in a change of scenery? And you know what the Raiders told him? They told him no. So don't ever do something for anybody thinking that they're going to have your back and want your best interest. The Raiders are refusing to embrace the tank and just hang around. And I really don't even know what their plan is.
I have no idea.
But they've decided that they're not going to give up Davante Adams, at least not as of right now. Trade deadline's is at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's when it ends. And Davante Adams is basically stuck. And as we just talked about all of this happening in the NBA, NFL players do not have the same type of leverage. They never have. Maybe somebody like Davante Adams. But let that be a cautionary tale. Look, not to get too into it, I think we've all made decisions. I've made personal decisions that have affected me professionally because I was acting on emotion. And I didn't think through the best thing to do and the reasons to do them. And it ended up costing me. And it happens at different times in your life. And Davante Adams, you got to wear it right now. Unfortunately, it's sad. He wasted his career.
It's incredibly sad. I mean, he's even now, like you see last night, that deep bomb that Jimmy Garoppolo just completely missed on him. Davante Adams created that space all by himself. I mean, he mixed that DB up and could not have been more open for a wide open touchdown down the stretch when his team needed it the most. And I cannot imagine what it must feel like to be a receiver and just have that helpless feeling. I mean, I think Adams was targeted 7 times yesterday, only had 1 catch. Like it's got to be, I mean, every Raider fan was complaining about Derek Carr, rightfully so, last year. And I think even Davante Adams would probably admit that it wasn't exactly what he wanted it to be last year. But what's going on right now with Jimmy G, and Jimmy G is definitely playing a huge part in all of this, but what's going on with not just Jimmy G, but with that Raiders team is just terrible. And Davante Adams, a player of his caliber, somebody who can really impact, like, could you imagine if the Chiefs just went all in to go get a guy like Davante? Like, that's something that could realistically swing a Super Bowl. He's that talented. And for him to just be wasting away on this franchise that just is going nowhere right now, it's just incredibly sad to see. And it makes you almost wonder, okay, yes, the NBA does have its drawbacks with all of their all their trade things and their player empowerment, but is this any better? Is what the NFL has going on any better, where these guys are essentially trapped, and we see the running back situation as well? It really sucks to see a guy like Davante Adams, who didn't ask for any of this. He didn't ask for Aaron Rodgers to be overly emotional and want to leave Green Bay. He didn't ask I don't think he asked for the Raiders to trade for him. I think he was okay with it because of the Derek Carr relationship, but he didn't ask to get stuck here after Derek Carr left either. And he definitely didn't ask for Jimmy G to be his terrible quarterback.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, you know what? We're just going to roast Jimmy G because it was so bad. I don't want to hear any type of Brock Purdy, Jimmy G comparison.
Also, we have to get to the Davante Adams sound as well, because that is
it's sad.
If the situation doesn't make you sad, hearing Davante Adams talk about the situation is borderline depressing.
We got that right when we get back. Hang with us, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple of people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store. Knee, hip,
foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, y'all. This is Bill with the Good Guys. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now. Tired of overpriced repairs? Call the Good Guys. Jaw-dropping quote for a new HVAC system? Call the Good Guys. Don't trust the other guys. Call the Good Guys. We offer free second opinions. Family owned and operated, always ready to serve the community. We offer the best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull.
Call 530-GOOD-AIR. License number 1057618.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Happy Halloween.
Very happy. Very happy
It's
now.
spooky.
Not bad. Okay. I don't know. It's like a vampire, kind of.
That's just my generic Halloween
spooky season
voice sounds.
I like it. It's a good one. It was a good one.
It just reminds me of commercials. Come to Great America for a spooky time. That's what it reminds me of.
You know, those voice actors, that's a way to go.
It is.
You know, this radio thing is cool and all,
Yeah.
but like I've heard Will Arnett, who records like tons of different voice work.
Right.
He makes like almost as much. I think he makes more doing voice work than like actually actively acting. So
That is, I mean, it's look, if you got it, but you got to be able to.
You gotta have
a
that-
lot of, because they
that
want
sound.
you the one-stop shop. You know,
Exactly.
they don't want to get one person to do one
Exactly.
specific thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Stiles and Watkins, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. Fourth official show as we are breaking down all things NBA. We'll get to the Kings a little bit later in the show, of course. Chris Beerman from the Candlestick Chronicles joining us at 11 to talk Niners and whether they'll make a move. And some people have been talking about the Niners making a move for, another wide receiver, because that's what the Niners need. That's what the Niners need.
Yeah.
They need another receiver and they need another pass rush. The two things that going into the season, we thought they were stacked on.
That's where they were most fine. And I still think they are. And that's the thing is, like, I keep hearing these, Niners should go out and Montez Sweat got traded earlier, but they should go get Montez Sweat. They should go try and get Brian Burns. They should try and
Derrick
trade
Henry.
Derrick, like, why are every position in which they're just completely set? It's let's actually double down and just be absolutely unworldly at that position. Like, no, sometimes you've got enough.
Yes. Sometimes you would think that you have had enough. And Davante Adams has had enough. Let's hear from Davante and what he had to say after the loss.
Honestly, I don't know what to say at this moment. I truly don't. I wish I had the words to say something that's not going to get blown up in the media and taken out of context. So I'm going to just, I just don't know.
Is that somehow worse than saying no comment? Because, like, typically when someone's just like, I really am afraid I'm going to get myself in trouble, you just hit them with the Mark McGwire no comment.
Right.
And I feel like somehow saying, I really want to say things, but anything I say will probably be spun in a negative way. And my mom always told me that if you don't have anything nice to say, not to say it. So I'm going to say nothing.
Yes.
That kind of sounds like you're saying a lot.
Right.
And your intention was to say nothing.
Well, he already was on camera slamming he said, we got to re-look at what he said as far as reading lips, but we saw him slam down the helmet. It was just all around bad. And to make things worse, Adam Schefter is here saying that it ain't going to happen. So don't ask, right? That Nick Saban. Yeah. I'm not gonna answer. Don't ask.
Quit asking. One of my favorites.
Let's hear from Adam Schefter.
I thought you might ask that this morning, Molly. So I made a couple of calls in advance, and the response that I got back to any potential Davante Adams trade by the 4:00 Eastern deadline today was to quote, "Not a chance in hell." So there's your answer. Not a chance in hell. Not going to happen.
Quote, Adam.
He's not going to be dealt by the 4:00 deadline today, despite the fact that everybody sees what's going on there. Everybody sees how frustrated he is. Everybody sees how disappointed they are. And everybody knows, he would fit with a lot of teams. A lot of teams can use Davante Adams right now by the 4:00 trade deadline, but that trade is not going to happen.
Wow.
I don't like that quote, Molly. So that's terrible. I mean, how does that look for like future Raiders? Like, how does that show for if the Raiders were to eventually go out and try and get other superstars as well? Like, how does Max Crosby, who might be a little happier, but how do other stars view this when you go, like, if you're going to go to the Raiders and they put you in this situation? The least that you would like to think that they would do is have an open dialogue with you about, hey, like, I still have value right now. I can help you guys. You guys help me as well. Like, receivers have never been more valuable in terms of trade assets than they are right here, right now. We saw what A.J. Brown went for last year. We've seen what teams have given up for, Chase Claypool, if I'm not mistaken, last year at the trade deadline went for a second-round pick. That was Chase Claypool.
Right.
I feel like Davante Adams can get you a first-round pick, could probably get you multiple, second or third-round picks as well. And the Raiders, again, they're in a situation where that should be what you're going for, is for building for the future. Because right here, right now, you gave Jimmy Garoppolo a contract, which makes it easy to move on from. I feel like the Raiders need to be thinking about the next steps. And I'm sorry, I know it's only week 8, but I think the season's over.
Well, it's all connected. Really, it's all connected to Josh McDaniels, because they were supposed, the Raiders, when you did bring in Davante Adams, and you did have a plethora of weapons to work with Derek Carr.
Right.
They weren't.
I forgot Waller's gone too now.
Waller,
they
just,
Waller,
and that was
awesome.
really weird.
Yeah.
They just didn't get whatever the case was. So because it all got messed up, because since they didn't win immediately and things got sticky with Derek Carr and they had to move off from him, Josh, of course, and I don't know whose call it is, but a lot of times the GM and the coach are connected, right?
And those two very much are.
And those two very much are. So they don't have time because of the amount of time they spent stinking. They don't have time to refresh. They're just going to sit there and say, look, Mark Davis, just fire us, because we're not going to restart it, because we know we don't have time to restart it. So really what should have happened was, after they moved off of Derek Carr, they should have still drafted Aiden O'Connell. They just never should have signed Jimmy. And they should have moved off of Davante Adams. Those are the two things they should have done. Just fully load, fully tank, and maybe you really stink and you can slide in and get a Drake May or Caleb Williams, or Aiden O'Connell ends up being the guy. The Jimmy Garoppolo move made absolutely no sense to me. And to be completely honest with you, I know you moved on from Oakland and you're in Vegas now. It was very much little brother. Well, you don't like Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers? Well, we're gonna turn your trash into treasure. Well, no, you're not.
It did feel a lot like that.
Come on, like Josh McDaniels, you just brought in all your guys, all your homies, so you can stink in a different color. You just came to stink in a different city with a different jersey. Jimmy Garoppolo, people, Brock Purdy, those were, and I actually heard on the broadcast, I heard Papa on the broadcast say Brock Purdy had a Jimmy Garoppolo-esque throw. To me, that's disrespectful.
Yes, it is.
After watching that, that was how many times, and Chris, we've been getting into the prize picks. Can I get an over on the amount of sacks that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to take?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was so bad.
He looks scared. He looks terrible. And I know he's got the busted back, which honestly, especially if you're playing quarterback, like in your Jimmy G, who's already close to being replaceable or already is replaceable, why are you going to throw him out there when he's not 100%? Because anytime there was any pressure within 3 steps of his face, he's just turning. He's turning his back.
It's so bad.
He's cowering down himself. He's taking sacks himself. It's got to be. I cannot imagine how infuriating it must be for Davante Adams and for anybody on that Raider team who's actually trying to win ball games, because they I really like Jacoby Myers. I think that's a great addition. I like the Michael Mayer pick. I think that's a good way of moving on. Yeah. And, their defense has been okay, but I swear they've said this stat every single week, and it continues on. The Raiders have not put up 21 plus points in a game this season.
Yeah.
Their offense cannot get moving, and they have necessary weapons to get it done. And it's just, how do you not point directly at Jimmy G, and how do you not point directly at Josh McDaniels? This isn't like a 49ers situation right now where we were doing blame pies yesterday and there's tons of different reasons and excuses. For me, it's as clear and cut and dry as Jimmy Garoppolo is terrible and missing wide open throws, and Josh McDaniels just is not the right guy for that job. And I'm pretty sure everyone who watches the Raiders knows that. I feel like Dave Ziegler knows it. I feel like even Mark Davis knows it, but it feels like the Raiders can never get out of it.
They just can't get it right. They just can't get it right. And when you talk about the different situations with the Raiders stinking, right? If you were to ask that right now, you talk about the blame pie. Have you ever seen those graphs where it says yes, and then it says yes, but in a different color?
Yes.
Right? That's where we're at with this.
Yeah.
And later in the show, we were talking about this Athletic article by Chris Branch, and he talks about the 6 messes in the NFL, and I don't even know if this list is valid anymore because the Raiders aren't on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they
the
almost
49ers,
need their own
and
separate thing.
And the 49ers are.
Yeah.
What is a mess?
Yeah. They are the definition of a mess right now because they have no answers anywhere. They don't have an answer at quarterback. They don't have an answer at coach. They don't have an answer at GM. And it doesn't seem like they're anywhere. And they don't know it either. That's the thing is they're not leaning. They're not like the Cardinals who are leaning into a tank. They're not like other teams who know they're bad and aren't trying to be good this year. The Raiders are still holding on to this illusion that they'll sneak into the last playoff spot. I think like that's what it feels like right now. I don't know why else they wouldn't just embrace playing Aiden O'Connell, getting assets for Davante Adams or for whoever else you want to possibly ship off as well. It just feels like the Raiders they have no self-awareness at all. And
Zero.
Frankly, what's new?
Zero.
It's not a new case.
Zero.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, if we were going to take it there, the Raiders, when they look in the mirror, they see a supermodel, but they are not a supermodel. Yeah. They think they are, though.
Yeah.
But they're not. And it's a complete mess. And Jimmy Garoppolo is got to be one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play the sport. And he's getting progressively worse.
Yeah. It is true. He's getting worse.
And we got to go, but we got Chris Beerman coming up right next here from Candlestick Chronicles, Stiles and Watkins. But Jimmy Garoppolo, oh, yeah, that's on me. Well, you're the one throwing it. Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. And water is wet.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was Davante Adams' fault that you missed him 10 yards out of bounds. I didn't think he was on you.
Running fast.
He wasn't running fast enough. He wasn't open enough. All right, got to go. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Chris Beerman up next from the Candlestick Chronicles.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
How far do you hit your 7-iron? Writer Josh Senn says it has implications for your enjoyment of the game as well as your pace of play. In a survey of 700 PGA and LPGA professionals, they say roughly 75% of female golfers and 50% of males play from distances that exceed their ability. Rounds are time-consuming and the game becomes less fun. The PGA, LPGA, and USGA spent years crunching numbers, surveying players, and reached guidelines based on your 7-iron distance. If you hit your 7-iron 140 yards, best course length is 5,900 to 6,100 yards. If your 7-iron goes 125 yards, play from 5,400 to 5,600 yards. If you bash your 7-iron 170 yards, play wherever you want. On a recent golf trip to Grey Eagle, the G-Man Gary Gerald and I moved up a tee and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves hitting greens and putting for birdies. Give it a try and see if you don't have more fun. But the putting, well, that's on you. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers, and we want to talk to you about hard water. California is notorious for having some of the hardest water in the country, which means it has high levels of calcium and magnesium, and that causes all kinds of problems. If you experience dry, itchy skin, brittle hair, dull laundry, or mineral deposits on faucets and fixtures, that's hard water. It also causes soap scum in your shower, spots on dishes, and creates wear and tear on your appliances. Yuck. Bell Brothers can help you out with our lineup of water conditioning solutions, from water softeners to whole house filtration systems to hot water recirculators. Your skin and hair will thank you, your fixtures and appliances will thank you, and even your spotless dishes. Call Bell Brothers right now and ask about our hard water solutions for your home. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
Two teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirmed. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
And finally, the 2023 NFL trade deadline is here. The fellas will keep you updated on the latest moves right here on the airwaves, and as always over at SactownSports.com and on that Sactown Sports app.
Let's get it.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Joining us right now from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline, please give it up for Chris Beerman.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And as Simone just said, we are joined by our guy, Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles, Sacramento Bee. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. Chris, look, the most important question here today is, what is the cutoff age for trick-or-treating?
Oh, man. 12, 11. Like if you're in high school, like, because this happened to me last year. It was like, you see a bunch of cute little kids and that's all fine. And then you see a bunch of kids who like stole a hat from their parents or something and just walking around to get free candy. It's like, come on, man.
All right.
I agree. I very
fair
much
enough.
agree.
I said 15 sophomore year, but I hear you. If you're dedicated, I think that matters too, but I hear you. All right, Chris, trade deadline, 1 p.m. We've heard a ridiculous amount of names from Davante Adams to Derrick Henry. Are the Niners going to do anything, or are they going to stand pat?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they're going to be active for sure. This is a team that's been extremely active at the trade deadline since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have taken over. Jalen Johnson, the cornerback from the Chicago Bears, would seem to make a lot of sense, and he was somebody that they seemed to be interested before the draft when he came out a few years ago. Maybe an edge rusher. I just don't know. Look, like, we came into the season believing this team was one of the most talented in the league and had one of the most complete rosters in football. They added Randy Gregory. He hasn't made a huge difference. Actually, they're winless since adding him, oddly enough. That's not a Randy Gregory stat. It's just sort of a weird point. But I like, Jalen Johnson would make sense, but to me, I think this roster is good enough. I think the improvement has to come internally, and just the team has to play better. Because I think they absolutely have the talent, and it's going to be tough for them to add contracts because, as I told you guys last week, like the salary cap stuff, they need to roll over all the cap space that they have this year into next year just to afford all of their guys that they have under contract next year. And if they do bring in an expensive player who does need a new contract, then you're looking at potentially losing guys, and maybe, somebody like Eric Armstead or one of your other high-priced veterans has to move if you do add another big contract at the deadline. So, I think I could definitely see them being aggressive because they have before. But if they're not super aggressive, I think they could still fall back on the fact that they do have a talented roster, and that the fix is more likely just playing better and playing up to their expectation and their level that they set for themselves, rather than relying on somebody to give them a boost.
Chris, I'm just curious in general, like, and it's not just a football conversation. We talk about it with the Kings as well. In sports, you can either kind of make a decision when you're adding people to either lean in more so into your strengths, so like the Kings can get more shooting, or you can try and address some of the things you're bad at, i.e., rim protection or whatever it may be. In the 49ers case, it might be DBs. Where do you fall kind of in that philosophy of should the Niners, more focused on the Niners sense, should they be looking at trying to, bolster D-line where it already feels like they're great, bolster the receiving room? Derrick Henry talks as well. Like, do you think that you should focus more on what you're good at and lean into it, or should you try and, patch up some of the bigger holes in your lineup?
Yeah, I think keeping your strength is probably the smartest way to go, because the 49ers are designed, like when we talk about defensive line, right? Like, they've doubled down on their defensive line over and over again in terms of adding talent there, because if there's any attrition, you still want your defensive line to be your strength, because they're built front to back defensively, and everything they do defensively is predicated on pressuring the quarterback. And so if you were to, maybe even out your resources in terms of how you allocate them, then, if you do deal with an injury or two along your defensive line, well, that strength is no longer a strength. And then you have to change the way you play. So for the 49ers, in my opinion, I think they, if they can get a pass rusher, somebody who can come in and make a difference at a reasonable price, I would absolutely consider it. But again, like, that's a very premium position, and they did already add Randy Gregory. And frankly, their defensive line should be good enough to where they don't have to add somebody else at this point. But in terms of philosophically, like, I tend to, like, if you've defined some clear strengths on your team, no matter what the sport is, making sure that strength is always your strength as the season goes along. If you deal with injuries or whatever can happen, I think that's really important. And then you could find ways to sort of patch together improvements in other areas. Like, I think the 49ers could potentially, maybe they get a Dory Jackson or Jalen Johnson or somebody like that, and it's not super cost prohibitive. I think Johnson probably would cost a decent amount, but you can do that and patch together a way to solve your weaknesses rather than taking away from your strength in that sense.
Talking to Chris Beerman, Candlestick Chronicles and the Sacramento Bee. Chris, Steve Wilkes has been under a lot of fire lately, right? And from not being in the booth to the amount of blitzes, how much blame do you think he should be getting when you have somebody like Fred Warner saying, hey, we got to tackle these guys. It's not all on Coach Wilkes, but how much would you say the defensive struggles have been on Coach Wilkes?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think you can make a case, I think particularly Sunday against the Bengals, that it just didn't feel like there was the same level of intensity that the defense typically has, right? Like one thing that Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryans did, they both did this, was, during film sessions during the week, they would track loafs, what they called as loafs. And they would basically call players out and hold them accountable in the meeting room. And it was, basically unacceptable. Like the worst thing you could do as a defender on the team was have any sort of loafs. In the film room, and it just feels like there isn't that same level of intensity right now with the defense. And I don't know if that speaks to the level of buy-in that they have from Steve Wilkes. I don't know if it speaks to there not being that level of accountability that the previous defensive coordinators had. But I think that there's just, I don't know, like if you were to tell me that the defense wasn't buying into the scheme and they didn't have a whole lot of confidence in the scheme, I think that sort of showed up on Sunday. At least that's like, you could convince me of that, right? Like I'm not in there, I'm not in the locker room, I'm not in the meeting, so I'm not going to pretend to know like exactly what's happening, but it just doesn't look like the 49ers defense are buying in and playing with that same level of intensity. And, like you can kind of tell, I thought in the press conference last week when Steve Wilkes came out and apologized for the zero blitz call at the end of the second quarter against the Vikings, it was kind of weird, right? Like it was like melodramatic and like a little bit unnecessary. And like, I don't know, like you can like, I think there's similarities in press conference settings and team meetings in that like you're speaking in front of people and you have to exude confidence, right? And people who are listening to you need to believe in what you're saying. And from that standpoint, it was like, man, do the 49ers, like, are they buying into what this guy is selling them? And that was a question I had after the press conference. And then seeing the product on the field on Sunday, it was just like, man, these guys are like missing tackles. Kyle Shanahan said the defense was slow and tired, which is never something we've heard about this defense in the last few years, right? They just always play hard. And so the fact that they're quote unquote slow and tired, according to the head coach, and you do have all these other question marks revolving Steve Wilkes, like my antenna's up. Like to me, it feels like something could be amiss there. And as good as the 49ers have been at hiring, assistant coaches over the years, you wonder if at some point they're going to hire a Lemon. And like, I think our radars have to be up at this point, given how much talent they have and given the general lack of production over the last 3 weeks.
Right. Niners heading into the bye this week. They come out of the bye with continuing to have a pretty tough schedule, have Jacksonville, and then have to finally play the Seahawks and then the Eagles as well, the much anticipated Eagles matchup in week 13. What do you think about those challenges that are ahead for the Niners, and what are you hoping to learn or see, or even what do you hope to see them be challenged on in those upcoming tough matchups?
Yeah, one thing that was interesting about the offseason and the schedule release, I forget the name is eluding me, but someone took a deep dive into schedule rest, right? And the schedule rest disadvantage that teams have. And, the 49ers played the Browns, who were coming off a bye. They played the Bengals, who were coming off a bye. And obviously them coming off a bye and the 49ers having a short week is a pretty substantial disadvantage when it comes to rest days leading into that game, right? And I'm not making excuses for the 49ers, but it's interesting that they had those two teams coming off byes, and then when they come off their bye, they're playing the Jaguars, who are coming off their bye. So the 49ers don't even get the advantage on the flip side of their bye week. So it's a challenging thing for them, but look, there are no excuses in the league. Like everybody in the NFL has crazy schedule things happen. The 49ers don't have to go to Europe like some of these teams, right? Like they don't have to, everybody in the NFL has a tough schedule. Everybody plays 17 games. Everybody deals with injuries. So it's really just going to be about resiliency. Like how resilient is this group? And I think in the past few years, you look at their starts, I think they're 3-4 last year, 3-5 the year before. And they've made it to the NFC Championship game in each of those seasons. So this team is resilient. And it's proven that it can bounce back. But a 3-game losing streak to teams that they should have beaten or that they should consider themselves better than is a little bit alarming at this point. So can they bounce back against a good team in Jacksonville on the road, coming off their byes is going to be really telling. And I think these next few weeks, to your point, Chris, is like, how they bounce back and how they play over these next few weeks is going to go a long way towards determining the fate of this team this season, because it came in with Super Bowl expectations and they should be able to bounce back from this adversity because they've done it before.
Chris, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the info, my guy. We will talk to you next week, and I will have some questions. Because it's a bye,
right?
We can ask even more questions because I need to ask your opinion on Nick Bosa. But thank you so much.
Yeah,
that is
sure.
Chris Beerman. Let's talk soon, man.
Yep, absolutely. If I see any 15-year-olds at trick-or-treating, I'm going to tell them to kick rocks for you. Right?
Thank you.
Man, no,
Appreciate it.
come on,
From the
man.
show.
Come
Thank
on.
you.
That's Chris Beerman,
man,
Candlestick
this is
Chronicles,
good.
and the
See
Sacramento
you guys.
Bee. Got to get to a
See
break.
ya.
When we get back, we're talking Kings. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Model year end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Great stuff from Chris Beerman. As always, Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Thank you for listening to our 4th official show on this beautiful Halloween day. On the text line 707, 8th grade should be the cutoff for trick-or-treating.
That's what I'm saying.
Dressing up for Halloween has no limit. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
That is from Chenti in Napa.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Man, I'm getting cooked here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's just a little bit too old. Being like a junior in high school, like you've already, you just, frankly.
I just think that Stiles
be
has
over.
made the great point here. This is creating an environment and an activity that kids can do that hopefully isn't going to get them hurt, or they're not out drinking or
Sure.
doing any tomfoolery,
It's
any
definitely
hoopla.
better. Yeah, you're right. It is definitely better. It's what I would personally want my child to be doing instead of partying.
Yes.
But I'm just saying the reality of being in that situation
Right.
is, you're just, especially in high school, you're entering high school.
I hear ya.
Your main priority is, I'm not trying to get roasted.
I
I mean,
hear
these
ya.
kids have been in school for like 3 weeks at this point? You start, when do
No.
kids start school? When do
I
kids
think they've
start
been
school?
in for a cool minute.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, I have no
Late
idea. As you
Mid-August,
can tell, it's
yeah.
been a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're still new. The point is, you're still new to the school, and you're trying to not get labeled as that kid.
I
New
hear
to
ya.
the school. What kind of narrative have you created in your mind?
I don't know.
I'm just y'all remember being a freshman in high school,
Yeah.
and you're in a new environment.
Yeah.
You're trying to put your best foot forward. The last thing you want to do is show up to school with
with a little bit of
buck teeth in
personality,
or
with
something,
a
and
with a
people
little
are
bit
like,
of character.
It's not about
Hey,
personality
hey.
and character. It's about being cool, Simone. Gosh,
Were
come
you?
on.
Yeah. Well, now we're getting to put, 1 strap or 2 strap for your backpack, right?
Dude, 1 strap, bro.
I was a 2 strapper.
Yeah, I was 2 strap.
Two
2 strap all
strap.
day, and I
Two
like
strap.
2 strap
I
all day.
squeeze that thing as tight as possible to my back. too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And did you go through? Because I got on the All Real Monsters, which Simone had never heard of.
Mm.
Don't understand that. Did you go through the little kid backpack phase? Did you guys had that?
Yes.
I had the Hulk backpack. I had a
Yes.
Rugrats backpack.
Oh.
I
Care
had the
Bears
whole thing.
for me.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, I was like 16,
SpongeBob.
17. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Didn't have that one, huh?
No, I had the JanSport.
Yeah, no, me neither. I just
not trying to stick out.
That's what I imagined. I saw it in high school, but
definitely
not me.
I'm just not trying to stick out.
Everybody else was doing it. Michael Baldacci, very active here on the YouTube chat. When is Stiles going to stop counting each show? I think we said about 7.
I think we said 7.
But because of you, tell them what they won, Chris.
You just got
going
14. We just doubled that thing.
Now we're going up to 15.
Keep
all right?
playing games.
Exactly. Don't
Watch
play with
what
us.
happens.
916-339-1140.
We're not
Let's
Adam
go
Silver out here.
to JR, who wants to talk some Kings.
This is dangerous.
What's up, JR? You're on Stiles and Watkins.
Hey, did Simone just drop a tomfoolery?
It's my French.
Simone's actually 70 years old.
Yes.
I was going to say, wait a minute, show from the 5th. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, are you going to go as a wet blanket tonight?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be
boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy birthday,
it's only Tuesday,
man.
but we're gonna make it work. Halloween special on a wet blanket Tuesday.
I say we count this show all the way up to 100 because I'm loving the show. You two are really good together.
Oh, thank you, Josh. That means a lot.
Good job. And anytime Simone answers the phone when I call, I kind of like, oh, this is nice. This is a nice
answer.
Hey, real quick, did you see Watkins? Curry's throw out of the leg last night.
I did. Yes. That was. You mean the trip? Do you mean when he tripped that guy?
God. I think I speak for America when I say we are all done with him.
Thank you.
We
Did you see
don't want to see him.
The Home Alone face and all that, JR? Come on.
Oh, my. I was there on Friday night. And I just yelled out, CarMax and State Farm suck. You suck. Nobody likes you, Curry.
Wow.
Get off the court, and then he dropped 41 on us.
So it's you to blame.
Love the show.
JR, wait. Guys. First off, I got to let JR, you got to let me know. Oh, he's gone. Well, never mind. I want to know what JR's cutoff was for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he's got some strong opinion on that.
You
JR,
just
you
want
can put it in the chat.
No, you just want to hear because you've been good. You're right today.
Well, I mean, you kept bringing up my Beam regime won.
Beam regime did win.
53%.
Beam regime did win.
Okay.
All right. And it was so beautiful seeing my first Beam, watching all the members of the Beam regime, walk out and enjoy
the regimens.
Exactly. All the fruits of the labor. All right. So speaking of the Beam and speaking of the Kings, there are a lot of questions going on about even now, right? And we talked about this when the season started. We're only 3 games in, so we're still talking about it now. And nationally, people are talking about it because De'Aaron Fox has been that dude, because the Kings have been off to a pretty darn good start. And the question remains, do the Kings have enough?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about winning a title, I still feel like they can be in contention because truly I don't think any one team, especially in the Western Conference, really sticks out. Obviously, Denver is the team that's at the top, but even them, they've lost some guys and who knows if they'll be. It's so tough to repeat as champions.
They're
cooking right now. I mean, you can't play better than what they're playing right now, so it's tough to not have them kind of separated, but they, at the same time, don't feel like an insurmountable mountain that the Kings couldn't climb. I think the Kings, again, have depth working in their favor. They have shooting working in their favor, and they have hunger as well. Denver's already reached that mountaintop. Michael Porter Jr. might not be as willing to work as a teammate as he was last year because, as they like to say, when teams win, the disease of more. Everybody feels like, hey, I played my part in winning that title.
Yeah.
I deserve to have to have a moment this year because I showed it's Jordan Poole syndrome. I showed my worth last year. Now let me cook this year, essentially. And so the Kings obviously don't have that. They're still fighting. They're still climbing. Talent wise, though, it just feels like, again, we talked about the talent in the division specifically. It just feels like there might be a slight top end talent deficiency that they could try and bridge that gap a little bit with. They might not need to get one of those top end guys, but maybe just improving your third or second best player would really go a long way.
Right. And the only reason I think the Denver Nuggets might be safe on the Michael Porter Jr. stuff is because he was terrible in the finals. I mean, he could not shoot the basketball.
Yeah, he was really bad.
He couldn't hit the backside of a barn. So I think that the Nuggets actually got lucky. If he was cooking like Jordan Poole,
he definitely would have been he would have been prime candidate number 1 for I'm getting 20.
Exactly. I need to be out. I need to be number 1 option. And I mean, back in the day, that was another guy. I mean, we talked about overhyped Michael Porter Jr. because of the injury. He was at Missouri randomly. So I don't even know. But it's funny that you talk about the making the second player better or the third player better in terms of the weapons that the Kings have, because here is Shams Charania talking about a couple guys that the Kings were interested in during this summer.
I think they are in position. They have a couple tradable contracts. Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, these guys are locked in long term. They're in that contract range, 16, 17, 18 plus million, where you can put together contracts for a star. Two guys that they have that they had conversations on over the summer, had varying degrees of interest in. OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, both with the Raptors. They really inquired a few times on OG Anunoby. I think that's a guy that they have interest in. Both players are expected to be free agents next summer. But overall, I do think with tradable contracts, with all their draft assets, this is a team, Sacramento, that is going to have a lot of flexibility moving forward.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Those names, throwing back in the trade generator once again, just never ends.
Yep. The problem is Masai is very much like Dave Chappelle with like Oprah Winfrey's money.
Yeah,
He's like,
no,
mine. Yeah,
I mean,
he's
I
not giving it up.
don't know if Masai's been hanging out with the Raiders or something. Man, just cut your losses.
Nah, that's not how he operates. For whatever reason, he's got to win the deal. He sees Daryl Morey win all these deals, and he's like, yeah, if I continue to hold out, eventually someone's going to offer me what I want, what I think is fair value. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I don't think anybody would say that winning a championship is ever a negative. But do you think Masai, because he's got that ring, because of Kawhi and because Kevin Durant was injured and because Klay Thompson also went down, he's thinking he's maybe the smartest person in the room a little bit too much?
Definitely.
Where it's just like, homie, Gene Chizik's got a national championship because of Cam Newton.
Yep.
All right.
Things move quick.
Things move
quick.
quick.
You're top dog until you're not.
So
I think it's kind of passed by him.
Maybe just chill out a bit.
Right. Like the Raptors are not in a power play position. Like they're very much a middling team. They don't really know who they are. If they keep Pascal and OG, they're going to keep being like a 7 or an 8 seed, but never better, never worse. And I mean, I think it's kind of like the Raiders, where it's just like, look, you guys are clearly, you lose Fred VanVleet. Kawhi's been long gone. You got Scotty Barnes, who's a good young piece. Lean into the rebuild or lean into the youth movement, if that's what you want to call it. And OG is still young. It just feels like those guys, again, much like the Raiders conversation, you can get so much value for those guys.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to eventually just accept the deal. And it might not be exactly what you want. It might not be 3 young players and 2 pick swaps or whatever. But whatever it is, it's better than just living in this purgatory of not knowing what you are. And so I would love either of those guys on the Kings. But the big question always becomes, especially when you're dealing with Masai, what would the Kings have to give up? And Keegan Murray is not being involved.
Yeah, Keegan is an untouchable. Yeah. He is definitely an untouchable. And we're going to get into other untouchables and who maybe you'd be willing to move off of when we get back. And here's the biggest thing about the Raptors, right? Drake ain't even going to the games no more.
Yeah,
Masai.
he's no longer the
That's
ambassador.
how you know you're messing up. We don't even see Drake. There's no more. When was the last Drake meme at a Raptors game? Like 3 years ago.
Yeah, probably my Frederico. That's my favorite.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, probably that one.
The one where he's on the phone, where he's looking on the phone, he's like looking up and down. Those are all long gone, Masai. So you lose Drizzy, you lose the 666, then you're not really balling like you used to.
I didn't hear a single Raptors reference in this last
Wow,
strikeout.
that's so true.
And he's supposed to be the ambassador.
You fell off.
Yeah, big time.
You fell
Big
off,
time.
man.
The
Sometimes
fall-off
you just
is
got to
real.
chalk it up. Just hang out with Mark Davis. All you guys just figure it out,
man.
and just chalk it up. And sometimes you just gotta. That's a new segment. It's called "Just Hold the L."
Yep.
And sometimes you just gotta hold the L. All right, gotta get to a break. When we get back, we are talking about who is untouchable and who you'd be willing to move off of on the Kings, or do you think the Kings have enough? That's your calls and texts and YouTube chats. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Winter's coming, so let's kick off the cold season right and get your heater all tuned up. Now just $79. No matter how cold it gets outside, you'll always be warm and toasty inside. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. Not much went right for the red and gold in Week 8, losing their 3rd straight game of the season, 31-17. Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow was cooking early, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running back Joe Mixon also got involved, going for 87 yards on the ground. His lone touchdown put the exclamation point on the visitors' victory, walking in from 5 yards out late in the 4th quarter. The 49ers entered their bye week at 5-3, dropping to second in the NFC West.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, E.B. Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with E.B. Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. E.B. Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. E.B. Stone, for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple, to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
I wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Tuesday. It's also Halloween. Look for mostly sunny skies this afternoon and light winds. Afternoon highs will peak in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
Two teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirmed. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
And finally, the 2023 NFL trade deadline is here. The fellas will keep you updated on the latest moves right here on the airwaves and as always over at SactownSports.com and on that Sactown Sports app.
Let's get it.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back to more Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We're back. Sactown Sports, 11:33. It's check.
I thought you were saying Sactown Sports 11:30. I was like, 11:40.
No,
it's not that hard.
Guys,
It's all over the
11:40.
place.
No, it is 11:34 right now. Taking you up to 2 p.m. Fourth official show, Halloween special.
Yes, sir.
And it's time. I've waited. I made everyone wait long enough. We gotta do it.
Yep.
Right. It's not in our contracts, but it's in my personal contract. Because this is the fun stuff, and you don't have that many fun days to do fun things.
Yep.
So when you do, you got to take advantage. We are getting to it right now. This could be very, very interesting. We're doing favorite candy and worst candy. Favorite candy, overrated candy. Let us know. 916-339-1140. Hop on the YouTube chat.
I feel like
hop
this is
on the
gonna get
text line.
contentious.
Let's get it going. I really want to know everybody's favorite candy and a candy that you just think, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Are we going now, or do we want to wait for some?
We can
some
go
things to
now.
trickle
They'll
in?
start to trickle in, and we'll keep it going throughout the show.
I would say favorite candy's got to be like Sour Patch Kids are pretty elite.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go Sour Patch Kids or a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Like a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup when it hits. To me, that's like the best Halloween candy you could get would be a Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, a Reese's Peanut Butter
And
Cup.
even the wrapping of it reminds you of Halloween because it's orange.
True, very true. Right.
So they do very well with the marketing there. Simone?
I'm with Chris. I'm a big like sours like person, so I'm in there for any sour trolley. Isn't it called trolley, right?
That's like the brand.
Yeah.
Creepy commercials.
Yeah.
Really? I've never seen a trolley.
They're
I don't know if
creepy.
I have either.
They make them like worms with teeth. It's
Oh,
creepy.
I've definitely
gross.
never seen
Yeah, it's
any
creepy.
trolley.
Well, I'm in there. I'm in there like swimwear on
Okay.
any sours. Trash candy. I mean, this is like pretty obvious, but candy corn, right? That's
Candy corn's
going
bad.
down to the bottom of the trash can.
I can't even tell you when the last time I actually had candy corn. I've just avoided it.
How about
I
those
wouldn't like
pumpkins?
it.
Those like the marshmallow pumpkins. I'm also out on those.
Don't think I've gotten those.
I don't want to know what
The
those are.
Smarties.
Yeah, like the hard, like they're just shaped like pumpkins.
Right.
Y'all have never seen those?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm out.
They're bad. They're not good.
I'm out on them.
They're not
Well,
good.
Exactly, I'll
Circus
trust you.
peanuts, like those big old
Right.
circus peanuts. Not a fan of those.
Well, because there's your sour candies and then there are your sweet candies and
There's also feels like candies that's from like World War One. We probably don't need mounds
like
anymore.
Werthers. Those aren't not bad though. They just remind me of my grandma.
Really?
Tons of response going up in the YouTube chat right now.
Carmelos. How are Carmelos?
Carmelos.
Never had a Carmelo.
Well, so I'm gonna go number one for me. It's pretty basic here, but I'm a Snickers guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm a Snickers
You ever
guy.
freeze them?
Classico.
Do you freeze them?
I don't like that. I like the
Why?
melty. I actually like them kind of on the verge
Yeah,
of
you
being
gotta
melted.
string it a little.
So I that's up there. Milky Way hangs around for me, but I would go Twix over Milky Way, and specifically the left Twix because I'm left-handed. So I just I just feel that better.
Yeah.
Real quick, even though I just got out here, I did go to the State Fair in Sacramento 2 years ago, and don't tell my doctor, but my go-to food at fairs, a deep fried Snickers.
Really?
I was going to say the Oreo.
Yeah,
Okay.
the deep fried Oreo.
Okay, I gotta try the deep fried Oreo, but the deep fried Snickers, they get down. Let's see what's coming in over here. Gummy bears, we're getting gummy bears for the top. Snickers favorite. Three Musketeers overrated. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if Three Musketeers is overrated because I don't know anybody that really eats.
Yeah,
Three
I don't know
Musketeers.
if anyone's having Three Musketeers conversations,
Right?
So I can't really.
But it's up there. Let's see
It's
what
definitely
else
not
we got.
good. I agree with you there. It's definitely not good.
Family Schlegel. Take Fives are my favorite underrated candy.
Fives?
Okay, they said underrated now. They said underrated. Mitch, Shively, Milk Duds.
Oh no.
Huh.
These are unconventional choices.
Next, we're going to see Junior Mints up here or something.
Yeah.
No,
Almond Joy.
925. What are we doing? Swedish Fish. Best
for
candy
sure.
for sure. You're into Swedish Fish.
Swedish Fish are like a cousin of Sour Patch Kids.
Okay.
They're like Sour Patch Kids, just red Sour Patch Kids without the sour.
Well,
like
and then
without the sugar.
yesterday things got a little bit dicey right here on these airways because it was Red Vines versus
Twizzlers. Right.
I'm
You
so
like
sorry
Twizzlers.
to interrupt. We do have a little bit of breaking
Let's hear
news
it.
here. I'm going to turn it down.
Are we sure? We're in an important segment right
I know. Looks like Chase Young is being traded to the 49ers. Likely a mid-round pick in 2024.
Guys,
So
we were just talking about candy. And meanwhile, a number 2 pick in, what was it, last year's draft, 2 years ago?
Chase Young.
The 49ers get maybe one of the best young pass rushers in the NFL, and we're here sitting and talking about candy.
I know. Emil's
Oh
all
my
over it. He's out of
gosh.
breath back here. He just ran up here to tell us the news.
My
So we've got to get to it.
My goodness.
Wow.
Well, how about that? We were just talking with Chris Beerman about, should just philosophy-wise, should the 49ers try and lean into strength, or should they, try and patchwork some DBs or something like that? And I mean, they go all in and then some by bringing in Chase Young, again, one of the best young pass rushers that there is in the NFL. And this is, of course, after Washington also shipped off Montez Sweat this morning, who was also,
Caleb Williams, come on down to Washington.
Definitely
Wow.
looks like Washington's embracing the tank. But way more important side is Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers. I assume going to be on the opposite side of Nick Bosa.
Yes.
And my goodness, I mean, I don't even know what this means for the league. I mean, I thought it was a big deal when the Niners acquired Randy Gregory. To get Chase Young is
incredible.
Huge credit to John Lynch again. Who, is just continuing to keep his foot down on that gas, keeping it on the accelerator, because they've slipped here. There's no surprise to anybody, or no secret to anybody here that the 49ers have slipped. And he took this opportunity, he ran with it, because getting Chase Young, I don't know if you can do any better than that.
No, you can't. And Jay Glazer, this was per Jay Glazer. That's where it's coming out. That was about 2 minutes ago. So thank you, Emil, for coming up and making sure we got that going as well, because it just broke 2 minutes ago. The Niners agreed to a deal for Chase Young. I don't think that the details are out for what the Niners gave up yet.
Tom Pelissero is saying it's a 2024 third-round pick going from the Niners to the Commanders.
That is a finesse.
A highway robbery.
That is the finesse of the century.
Yes, and I would also assume a big part of the reason why maybe the compensation is so low is because someone's going to have to pay Chase Young pretty soon. And this is where it comes in, the fact that the Niners had just an abundance of cap space.
Yeah.
Again, not going to pretend to be a cap expert at all. I have no idea how the NFL cap functions. But if I had to guess, I would assume that the 49ers would be more than willing to pay Chase Young if they have the funds available.
Yes. Wow.
Ohio State linemen. Wow.
That is
incredible.
Something else.
I mean, and this is a move that I would say this is definitely something that when you're talking title odds and so, like, this improves the 49ers title odds.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how significantly, but it definitely is taking a pretty major step after this.
Wow. We will have sound. We will have all the details for you. The Niners continue to go, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. That's what they're doing. They are no longer playing around.
We were just in the middle of a candy conversation.
The candy conversation will gotta wait.
I guess.
Okay? Because the Niners said enough is enough. We got a bye week. We got time to get him in the mix. We got time to get this thing right. Less pressure on Brock Purdy.
Wow.
Less pressure on everybody around, because that's what they said. You have a young QB. The rest of the requisite parts, they got to do what they've been paid to do, and they haven't been doing it. You bring in Chase Young. We're not saying no. We're not going anywhere. Got to get to a break. When we get back, reacting to the Chase Young deal. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I think I got my swagger back.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite.
Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Cooler temperatures mean it's time to reduce your outdoor water use. Water 1 day per week on Saturday or Sunday from November 1st through February 29th. Learn more about your home's watering schedule at sacwaterwise.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, with some breaking news on this Halloween with Chase Young coming to the Bay, or headed to the Bay. The San Francisco 49ers have to give up a 2024 third-round pick.
Oh, no.
And get Chase Young. They are normally good at third rounders sometimes, maybe a little later. For Chase Young, who will, as we assume, will be on the opposite side of Nick Bosa, giving quarterbacks nightmares, all the questions about why this defensive line wasn't able to get pressure. Not really sure why, as we talked to Chris Beerman earlier, but it doesn't matter now. No, this is what John Lynch and the Niners thought that they needed to do, what they feel like could be the thing that separates them.
It's the McCaffrey move 2.0.
It's the McCaffrey move 2.0. That paid off dividends last season and this season, and now they do it again. The Niners continue to do their best to keep that window open.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts, Chris?
I mean, just wow. And again, the 49ers just continue to be incredibly active. at the deadline. Let's not forget that they acquired Jimmy Garoppolo in a similar fashion. And then, Christian McCaffrey as well. And now Chase Young on top of that. Again, just one of the best young pass rushers that you can get in the NFL. A guy was drafted just in 2020, the year after Nick Bosa. So you've got possibly a great two great staples on the defensive line that could potentially be your pass rush for the next 5 to 7 years. Like, who knows how much longer or when they're going to try and extend Chase Young. But the big thing for him is going to be health. I was looking at his Football Reference, and his rookie season, he played 15 games, which is great. Got AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, phenomenal. But in the 2 seasons before this one, 9 games in 2021, 3 games in 2022. Only playing 12 games in 2 years after a great rookie season is probably why Washington was so willing to move on from this. But of course, he's played in just about every game this year and seems to be healthy. 5 sacks so far this season, on pace to be a career high for him. It's the rich getting richer. It's the same exact thing I felt when they got Randy Gregory, except this is like 4 times better than Randy. It's like getting a young guy who's still in the peak of his power, who still has tons of miles left on him as well, and just is an absolute athletic freak. Like, there was talk that he should have been the number 1 pick in that draft.
Yeah. And 916-339-1140, if you want to be a part of the conversation, for whatever has been said about Steve Wilks and this defense, one thing that I don't really prescribe all the time to everything happens for a reason, but there are certain things that happen for a reason, just in my humble opinion. And with the Niners scuffling the way that they have, this could have just been a rough patch for them, right? They could have figured it out, but the Niners aren't leaving it to chance. So it's almost as if, did you sacrifice these 3 losses to now make yourselves even better? Because if they have, maybe they win 1 game and lose 2. Maybe they feel, I think we're fine. But losing 3 the way that they did, we have to make a change. Now, we see you beaming on the YouTube chat. I'm certainly not going to complain about the 49ers getting Chase Young, but I feel like the secondary or the right side of our line should be a bigger priority. Oh, well. And that is a great call. Like we said, 916-339-1140. Your initial thoughts to the move. The other part of this is, look, at 3rd rounder, the Niners, they're still trying to get back from everything with Trey Lance and all the different moves that they've made with picks and things like that. You give up a 3rd rounder for somebody, like you said, Chris, before the break, that's going to be a free agent. So are you planning, if he plays well, are you planning on signing him? We're not capologists. We'll get a capologist on later in the week to figure out how they're going to pull this off, because something's got to give here.
Something has to give. Yeah, I don't know if they've got to clear somebody else out or if they just have – I know they had $41 million in cap space that they were planning to push on to next year. I don't know if they can – again, no idea how the NFL cap works, so I'm not even going to try and go into it. But, it definitely makes you wonder, like, is this a move that's thought of with long-term implications, or is this just a move where, again, the Niners see this quote-unquote championship window and they're just trying to maximize the window as much as possible, where, I think if I'm not mistaken, then Young would have this and next year still left on his deal if he was a year after Bosa. So who knows? I mean, this could still be the Niners just seeing an asset out there, going to get that distressed asset. And, if they don't, for whatever reason, if it doesn't work out this year, maybe they can just, look to move off of him next year and pass the bill to somebody else. But I think it's a great move, but I also definitely agree with Beeman in the chat when he says, I personally would have probably addressed some other things, because though you are bolstering a major strength here, I don't know how much better. I mean, they're clearly going to be a lot more dangerous on the defensive line, but I still think, the right side of the line, and even you can argue the left side possibly. I feel like the line and the DB room is the place where the Niners really could have taken another step up, and they still can. There's still what do we have? Another hour.
We got another hour
until the deadline's over.
If you're just now tuning in, if you're driving around in your Halloween costume, the 49ers have traded for Chase Young to bolster up that pass rush. They had to give up a 3rd round pick in 2024, but they are continuing to go all in. 916-339-1140. Got a little bit of time, about a minute left before break. Let's go to Mitch, who wants to talk Niners. What's up, Mitch? You are on Stiles and Watkins.
How we doing, guys? Thanks for taking a call. Hey, by the way, My favorite trade, if it's a little expensive, the Molomars. I don't know if you're familiar with the Molomars out there.
Okay.
They're the best. It's a great trade. Third round. I know whenever to make up for Trey Lance. And I still think one more goof, and I think Sam Darnold should. We'll have a whole nice competition like Steve Brody and Steve Spurrier. I know I'm older than you guys. Good trade. I guess Greg's going to give us time, and I guess it spells the end of Drake Jackson. I'm a fan of Drake. He had 3 sacks game 1, I believe, right? What's happened to Drake Jackson? Is he still on the team?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've given you a lot. Oh, he is? Great.
Yes,
thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the call, Mitch. Yeah, I mean, for now he is. And Drake Jackson, man, we keep talking about, I thought this guy was going to be a guy. He was one of my picks, and I think a hopeful pick for Niner fans to kind of show up this year. He did some really nice things in the preseason.
Week 1 even. He had 3 sacks, didn't he, in week 1?
Yeah, that's what Mitch just said as well. And something weird has happened. What this tells me as well is something – I don't know how much heat it takes off Steve Wilks, but it takes some.
Sure.
Because
definitely.
that tells me that they believe that something was wrong, not just with the schemes.
Sure.
If it was just schemes, then I don't think they would have necessarily made this move. But the personnel wasn't right.
Right.
Or they just figured, we're just going to bolster it up because we got to fight through what Steve Wilks is doing.
Yeah,
One of the two.
I think it definitely puts more pressure on Steve Wilks
Without
to
a
make
doubt.
it work out because now, again, kind of much like the offense, it's like, well, what's your excuse? Because you have the talent and it can't all be on the talent either. Like, I know Warner said, we're the ones out there making tackles, but at some point it's like, okay, but anybody with the talent that you have should at least be able to have some baseline of good defense. And, the Niners still are a good defense, but it's just we haven't seen them be an elite defense like they've been in the past. And this definitely should help them out there. I mean, I'm looking here, and it says this year, this is from David Lombardi of The Athletic, Chase Young will only cost the Niners this season $561,000.
Wow.
I have no idea how that works. Again, no cap expert. Don't pretend to be. Don't even want to be. But it's much like the Randy Gregory thing where the Niners aren't even necessarily going to be paying for this year.
Yeah.
Like Gregory, I think, is being paid almost completely by the Broncos. And I don't know what the situation is with Chase Young's money, but apparently the Niners aren't going to be paying him either. So this could be just another really, really savvy move. And, I'm also seeing a tweet here. The Niners have gotten Trent Williams from Washington for a 5th round pick and now Chase Young from Washington for a 3rd round pick. Like, what relationship does John Lynch have there?
Well, I think it might be Kyle too. Hey, Kyle.
Right, exactly.
We got a connection here, so we'll hook you up. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, still reacting to the Niners. What do you think? More of your calls, more of your texts, more of your chat. Any excuse if the Niners don't get it done this season? Is there any excuse? Because they're going all in. But at some point, you got to cash in. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, 11:40 a.m. Take you up to 2 p.m. Halloween edition. With some breaking news that came in that shouldn't be very scary for the Niners. Chase Young, defensive end Chase Young, is on his way to the Bay right now to be on the opposite side of Nick Bosa for a defensive line that we thought was pretty good going into the season. Well, what's better than good? Great. And the Niners hadn't been good these last couple games with the lack of pressure that they've been getting on quarterbacks. So they said, you know what? We're just going to go out and get a guy, and we're going to sacrifice another pick. Right. We've shown that the Niners, they will give up picks. They don't care.
They don't care. Well,
they do not care.
Adam Schefter just tweeted out that the Niners are projected to get compensatory picks, third-round picks at that, for Mike McGlinchey, another one for D'Amico Ryans, and for another coach as well. So they're already expecting three compensatory picks. So they're shipping one of them off, and it's really like, I mean, they still have three other ones.
No, that's a great call. That's a great call because some people did say, well, you're losing another pick, and typically you'd like to hold on to those in situations like the Niners, so where you're going to go lower because you've been playing well. So we get all that, but you also have to go out and make moves, right? And that's exactly what the Niners have done. And the question is this. I mean, even going into the season, I thought it was Super Bowl or bust. And I know a lot of people don't like that term, Super Bowl or bust. We can still just enjoy the season. Nobody said you couldn't, right? But if the players and the coaches and the front office is Super Bowl or bust, why are you as a fan afraid to say that, right? That doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy the season if they don't win it all, but that should be your expectation. Doesn't mean it's a failure or you didn't enjoy yourself. It can be a failure, but you still had fun, right? There should be
friends you made along the way.
The friends you made along the way. There should be nothing less than a Super Bowl in the sights of the San Francisco 49ers. Because this is it, man. Yeah. This is it. You have the Chiefs that look a mess. The rest of the AFC, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe Joe Burrow starts to heat up, or the Ravens or whoever, or the Bills decide to have Josh Allen only throw the ball to guys on his team.
That'd be great.
And then in the NFC, the Vikings, if you were worried about them at all, even though they go out and get Josh Dobbs, I know you're happy about that.
Come on.
Rocky Top, all that jazz.
We haven't had any time.
You have the Cowboys, who just had their signature win, but I still don't think the Cowboys are anything to worry about just yet. And you have the Eagles, who, they find ways to have a gritty win. When are the Eagles going to have a pretty win? When are the Eagles
waiting?
When are they going to go out and say, we're better than you, we're going to embarrass you?
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys have one.
Yep.
And the Niners have one against the Cowboys. The Eagles are just scraping by.
Everybody. Every single week. It doesn't matter if they're playing the Commanders or if they're playing the Jets. All of their games have been one-score games. I think they still have had 5 or 6 of their games come down to one-score games or less than 8 points. I mean, I really do think that it's up for grabs in terms of the NFC, and I feel like the Niners definitely have the most talent of all those teams. I kind of felt like at the beginning of the year the Eagles could go tick for tack with their talent, but watching the Niners the first 5 weeks, and I'm still entranced by those first 5 weeks. I don't think that these last 3 weeks have completely erased everything that they were to start this season, and we'll see if they can kind of get that magic back. But I feel like this Niner team, by going all in with this move, you're right. Like I think it's Super Bowl or bust from an organizational standpoint, and I do feel like fans should really have that same level of expectation. If it's not winning a Super Bowl this year, then you're just kind of exactly where you've been the past 3 to 6 years, where you're definitely not bad, but what are we playing for? We're playing to win the championship. And, I love the fact that John Lynch is making moves that also represent that. Like he is going all in, and I don't think anyone in that front office would accept any excuse for why they wouldn't win. They have more than enough talent. And again, it's almost like their depth, if you will, is baked into the top end talent they have. Again, if Chase Young or Nick Bosa go out, much like we talk about with the receivers or with the running backs and who is down the depth chart, they still have Randy Gregory. They still have Drake Jackson there. They still have Cleve Farrell available to go. So, they're all set up to have success, even if they do find even more injury scares. And, that's why it's going to be interesting to see in this next hour if they're going to address now some of those lesser points of the roster, because they might find some more injury woes on the offensive line. I saw Aaron Banks is out for 3 weeks. Like they might need to shore up that offensive line. They might need to go out and get another corner. But even if they don't, the Niners have done a great job already of just making their strengths absolutely dominant. And it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see what they're going to look like coming off a bye, because that's another element of this as well. The Niners get their bye almost at a perfect time, where anyone they do trade for is going to have some time to kind of integrate them into the lineup so they can play right from the first week they're available.
Yeah. And again, Niners trade for Chase Young, pass rusher, to go opposite of Nick Bosa. They give up a 3rd-round pick in 2024, and they probably aren't done, right? If that's what they had to give up, and if that's what they're willing to give up to get a guy like Chase Young, who part of that price tag was that it's an expiring contract, and you might have to extend him unless he goes off the free agency, then in that situation, you would have given up a 3rd-round pick for a rental, right? Unless you extend him. Whether they decide to extend him or not, we shall see. Yeah. And I don't think they're done yet. Like you said, we got an hour. We got a little bit less than an hour left here for what the Niners have going on as they continue to go all in on this situation with just, I think about the Niners and I think about the other teams and what they've done, because I haven't seen anything about the Eagles, but I don't think the Eagles have done anything.
I don't think so.
I don't think the Cowboys have done anything. So these are the biggest competitors for the Niners, and the Niners are getting better, and the Eagles and the Cowboys are staying as they are. And maybe that's fine. We'll see when the Niners match up against them. But, to have two guys on both sides, where if you have a highlighted reel, right, the star of the game for a certain player, and if you have two of those guys on the same team, that's a problem for the offense, right? You're going to talk about Nick Bosa all day long because he's Defensive Player of the Year. And then you got Chase Young, who is, I wouldn't say trying to reinvigorate his career, but is getting a chance to play at a high level against a team,
bigger stage, definitely.
A much bigger stage. Very similar to, again, like you mentioned, Christian McCaffrey. Now I get to play for something.
Yep.
Right? How many games has Chase Young played that's had anything on the line?
I would guess under 2 games if I had to guess.
I mean, just playing to hopefully cover the spread.
Yeah, right.
Just playing to hopefully just win a game.
B500, I guess. Yeah, like those
right?
would be big games for the Commanders these past couple of years. Would be like, oh yeah, we're in playoff contention now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like the thing is, you mentioned the McCaffrey trade, and I think you think about how much different this team was post McCaffrey trade. I don't know if it'll be that big of an impact, but Chase Young is definitely somebody who you could see how there could be a BC and an AD of this trade where it's like the Niners could completely flip all of the pressure woes and everything that has been going wrong with the defense. It could all be alleviated after making this move, and they could be back to the guys that we saw the first 5 weeks. I really think that this trade has potential to kind of course correct the Niners back onto the path that we saw them the first couple months or the first month of the season.
John Lynch, what is he cooking? What is he cooking? Well, I don't think he's leaving the kitchen yet.
No,
I really
he's
don't
got
think,
a gumbo going.
Yeah, he's got the gumbo going. He's got some jambalaya. It's sitting there. It's stewing and all that jazz. Let's hear from Ian Rappaport, just an update and just breaking down the Niners and this trade for Chase Young, the young star on the defensive line.
And now Chase Young, the former number 2 overall pick, goes to the San Francisco 49ers in exchange for a 3rd-round draft pick, a much more likely destination. The 49ers defense really struggled the last couple of weeks under Steve Wilks. Beef up their defensive line, give them someone on the opposite side from Nick Bosa. And, if you're the 49ers, you have aspirations to go deep into the playoffs. The best way to do it is to stop the other team's quarterback from doing what he does. Adding Chase Young to the mix, certainly someone who could do that, as talented as anyone. He is in the last year of his deal, so likely going to need a contract extension at some point. All of that goes into the price, but I think the main thing for the 49ers this year is that they just got a lot better on defense with a premium talent off the edge.
Wow.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Again, just credit John Lynch, who has just been incredibly aggressive all the way back to the Garoppolo trade, trading for Jimmy G in the middle of the season all those years ago, moving up even for Trey Lance. Like, even though that process didn't work, I think the wherewithal to, again, be incredibly aggressive and understand if we can nail this pick, this changes the course of our franchise, and then to move on from that and still try and build a winner, trade for McCaffrey. And now we're seeing him, obviously, he shipped off Trey Lance as well, moved on from that, and then is making this deal for Chase Young. It's not something that a lot of NFL teams do. Like, we talk a lot about NBA trades and all the player movement and trade in the NBA, but in the NFL, teams usually don't have that same level of aggression. They don't view the trade market like in the NBA does as a way to massively improve your team in the middle of the season. A lot of times NFL trade deadline is pretty quiet, and that hasn't been the case for the 49ers.
Yeah.
And that's all credit to John Lynch, because it's been working. Like, it is, the Niners are in the position that they are in now because of all of the moves that they have made. And that's a huge credit to John Lynch for doing things that other GMs, I think, are just too afraid to do.
No, it's almost become a yearly thing with them that they're going to make a move. 916-339-1140. Got about 30 seconds before we get to a break. Let's hear from Steven, who wants to talk about the Niners. What's up, Steven? You're on Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
What up, Steven?
So, quick question for you boys. So this move is absolutely monstrous. I think so, at least from my perspective. Chase Young, he is just an absolute beast. He was a beast coming out of Ohio State.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Thank you. So with that being said, this really shores up our defense, like a lot. Okay. So with that being said, I kind of feel like I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. I really kind of feel like this now that the defense is taken care of, is a huge step taken to shore up the defense. Is this going to put a huge spotlight on Brock Purdy and the rest of the offense? Because they always say defense wins championships. And yes, we did, shore up one side of the ball, essentially the most important side of the ball. But the offense, to me, in my opinion, is just as equally as important.
I think we lost Steven, but no, I think it's a good point, and you're not alone, Steven. They're saying it on the text line as well, just about what the Niners – this text line said 209, good pickup, but what are they going to do at QB? I don't think it's that deep 209, but I will say it's going to put more – if they start playing well again and holding teams under 20 or 25, whatever it is, they're not done. And that's what I said. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I don't know if it's actual weapons, but I don't think the Niners are done. But yes, either way, that offense is going to need to play better. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we're still breaking down some of the Niners, but we're going to start to sneak in some Kings talk because there's a lot to talk about, and whether De'Aaron Fox will be out there against the Warriors and how long he'll be out if he's not. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Are you a business owner in need of financing? Then you need Swish Funding, the better way to get the funding you need. Our simple application process takes just minutes, with funding as soon as one business day. At Swish Funding, we focus on your business cash flow, not your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with funding from $5,000 to $5 million. If you've been in business for 1 year and have monthly revenue of at least $25,000, you could get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. At swishfunding.com. That's SWISH Funding.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, reacting to the Niners trading for Chase Young.
Interesting. I'm looking on X right now, and Tim Kawakami just put out that an NFL source is telling him that the Niners are closing in on another trade. Said he doesn't know who it's for, but it seems very likely that they've got one more. So stay tuned and stay on deck for that one.
Wow. I mean, that's probably going to break before the segment's over, you would think.
I would think. So should we get ready for Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes coming into San Francisco? Is that all right? Is that no?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You're done with Brock, huh?
No, I mean,
You've hit Brock bottom.
Can we go to break now? I know we just came back, but is that possible? Can we just reset this segment?
Come on, man. Well, look, that's what we're saying. You know, text line 916-339-1140. Chase Young is a good pickup, but what are they doing? What are they going to do at QB? They need a QB. Do people really Do people really feel like Brock is not that guy? And this leads actually beautifully into Chris's outstanding segment. Thank you, 209, part of the show as well. Of Halloween costumes. And
that's right. I forgot we said this. Right.
Not what we wore, but costumes that other players are wearing for other players. So, for example,
as some would say, cosplaying.
Yes, cosplaying. So, for example, somebody could say that Brock Purdy was wearing a Tom Brady costume.
There you go.
And these last couple games, he's decided to take it off.
Yes.
Very similar to, I'm just going complete nostalgia today. Like Mike. I don't know who saw Mike with
Calvin
Bow Wow.
Cambridge, right?
With Calvin Cambridge.
Come on.
And if you went to a music festival, you needed to have the Knights jersey.
Yes.
Right?
Oh
you just had to get it popping like that. Brock Purdy, do you think he was wearing a costume, or do you think it's not Scooby-Doo? If it wasn't for you, you know,
would have gotten away with it for you and those meddling kids, this meddling dog. I can't remember. I would say Brock's been dressing up. He's definitely been dressing up. I don't necessarily mean that he's not good. Like, I'm not saying he's just been completely faking it, even though you have a costume on, you still gotta, that doesn't mean, you throw a football and it's going to be Tom Brady, but he's definitely been doing a really good impression. And that's as far as I'm willing to say right now. Like, I still think he's got some of what we've seen from him in him. However, it's not going to be as sensational, quite literally, as what it's been for the past, 12, 13 weeks of Brock's career so far. Like, I think it's going to be a guy who is a game manager for sure. The big thing for me is going to be the turnovers. Like, all of a sudden, this guy has turned into Jameis Winston.
Right.
Like, he traded in the Tom Brady and has instead put on a Jameis Winston outfit these past couple weeks where it's just been the turnovers are way, way too much. I think he has 6 turnovers in the last 3 weeks. That just feels excessive. And I feel like there's going to be a regression back to the mean. And if I had to guess, he's probably going to be more, instead of 220 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, it'll probably be 220, 2 touchdowns and a pick, or maybe a fumble or something like that. I definitely think that we're finally going to be able to get like a proper evaluation on who Brock Purdy is. It's not going to be Mr. Irrelevant for sure. It's definitely not going to be Brock Purdy leading for MVP like it was a couple weeks ago. But now I think we're going to find where on the Kirk Cousins spectrum this guy falls.
Right. Yes.
Essentially.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's a good call. How I would maybe put it is, he's going to seem like a lesser quarterback than he has, because if he's going to be successful, he's got to take less risks.
Yeah.
And I think that Brock had been living on the edge for a while. I can't remember what game it was, but there was some really bad tips. It might have been the Giants
game. Where George Kittle literally played DB.
Exactly.
I think he did the strap up.
Exactly. So he's kind of gotten away with it for a while. I do think, I hate to use the L word, but I do think that there was some luck involved in some of those situations.
Definitely.
And it's starting to run out. That doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback. That just means it's more realistic, right?
Yes, because this hasn't been real. It's been a Jeremy Lin sensational thing where it's just been, this guy is doing all right and no wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just not realistic. That's nobody. Patrick Mahomes, again, even Patrick Mahomes, the greatest that we've seen in terms of just arm talent, even he has bad games. So it was just unrealistic to expect Brock to be this very calculated, meticulous guy who can take risks, but not at the risk of turning the ball over. Like it wasn't real what we were seeing.
Well, and that's why if you were to answer the question, ask the question, do you still think the Niners can win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? I'm leaning towards yes still.
Yeah.
But this is the most ridiculous roster I've ever seen. So I would say yes, but I would also say, as we've been saying, when you go out and you get Chase Young, if you're just tuning in, the Niners trade for Chase Young, and according to Tim Kawakami, they are not done yet. We're not done yet.
Nope.
We're not done yet. They got a little bit more than 30 minutes to see what else they can do. But that's the thing. If you don't get it this year and you got to start paying people or whatever the case is, and Brock is what we've seen, I don't know, right? I mean, that's why I'm saying you got to get it done this year. That's just what it seems like to me. I think you can win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, but I think a lot of things got to go right.
Yeah, for sure. And one of those things that has to go right is their defense now, especially that they add a guy like Chase Young. They need to be elite. Like they need to be one of the best 3 defenses in the NFL, no questions asked. And if not, they need to be top 3 and probably not 3.
Right.
And can Brock Purdy win a Super Bowl? I mean, yeah, sure. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. We saw how if the 49ers defense again is elite, if this trade for Chase Young turns the corner and they can now be an elite defense, that just means that Brock Purdy has to do even less. And in the more and more that you can move how much it takes from Brock to win a game, the better you're going to be. I mean, that's not necessarily demeaning Brock. It's just, it's the reality of the situation. If you have an elite defense, that means that Brock doesn't have to play from behind like he has the last 3 weeks, where we've seen a lot of his turnovers happen by trying to, like you're saying, he's trying to make plays there, where in the past he's just had to do what's in front of him and do not take risks because you're in the lead and you're trying to keep the lead. So can that defense now be elite? That's going to be the big thing for can Brock Purdy win a Super Bowl, because I think we've seen these last 3 weeks, if he's got to play from behind, if he's got to go make that run for the Niners to win, it's just going to be an uphill battle. But if the defense can compete,
right,
and they can hold a lead, they don't have to. The Niners have put up 30 in those 5 wins, but they don't have to put up 30 if the defense holds everyone to below 20.
You know what's insane that I didn't even notice until I'm looking at it right here? The Niners have scored 17 in each of their last 3 games. Exactly 17.
Yeah.
And you sit here
That's
and
a nosebleed for the Raiders.
Okay.
The Raiders they're dreaming of
please,
17.
Please, God, don't get me
Wait,
started again.
2 touchdowns in the same game?
In the same game.
We're all part of the same miracle.
In the same game. So you have an offense that's been stuck in the mud, and we wonder what Tim Kawakami is alluding to. Could that be something on the offense? What it could be? Because I'm looking here, and we talk about when we thought this team was going to put up 30. That's from after, let's see, when the season started, when the regular season gets going, right? They're dropping 30, 30. They drop 30, 30, 30, 35, 42. And then that's when it started and they can't get past 17. So will the real Niners offense and will the real Brock Purdy please stand up?
Right.
Because we don't know. And yeah, the defense can be better, but if they were dropping 30 like they had been these last couple games, and I know the Browns defense is ridiculous, they win the Browns game. The Browns 19.
Yeah.
But it's
Jake Moody.
But
Awesome.
Steve Wilkes on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And to be fair, yeah, they were in a position to win that game, and Jake Moody,
Moodied it.
Moodied it.
I'm
He
not.
did not.
That's mean. I'm sorry. I won't.
Well, he did.
It's not a verb yet.
He didn't get it done. All right, and he's been good so far after that. 49. He did miss that field goal next game, but now he's been good. 49ers and Vikings. The Vikings, this was the game where it was, oh my gosh, Kirk Cousins is cooking up.
Right.
They had 22.
Yep.
They had 22 points.
Yep.
Is that really cooking?
No, not at all.
31, sure, over 30 the Bengals, but that's an elite quarterback.
Yeah, it is.
Right? That's an elite quarterback.
It's understandable. They have ridiculous talent, and they're definitely on the up right now.
Yeah. So, you go out, you get Chase Young. You're not done yet. We're still waiting for that second thing to break right now. We're at a little bit more than 30 minutes left here. And as much as it's about the defense, you still can't expect the defense to not let a team. I mean, that's just unrealistic, especially if you don't get more help defensively, because the corners aren't any better.
Nope.
Right? And the other areas, Steve Wilkes, maybe he can be better, but you can't expect this team, if you're going to get stuck at 17, you can't expect the defense to hold down the rest of that schedule to 20 points, to under 20 points.
Not
That's
when you got
unreal.
the Seahawks, and then you got the Eagles, and you got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, you're playing some real offenses here coming up. And yeah, I mean, the defense is going to have to play their part. They really do. It's a two-way street. The offense has definitely got to step up, but the defense has obviously, I mean, we've been talking about it, but the defense is not blameless in this situation at all. And, they're definitely reassuring themselves with this Chase Young move that they understand that as well, is that the defense needs to play their part. And this is not just all on Brock Purdy, and is Purdy elite enough to let the 49ers win. It's about the 52 other guys who are playing as well.
Yeah. All right. Got to get to a break. We are on pins and needles for this next move. We got Kings. We're going to get to Kings. Trust us. Hang with us. But we're just waiting it out to see if the Niners do something else. According to Tim Kawakami, they're not done yet. Stiles and Watkins, we're not done yet. We'll be right back. Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Did you know one of the worst things you can do is turn on your furnace after it's been sitting there all summer, gathering dust, without giving it a thorough tune-up first? Think about it. What if your car had been sitting in the garage for 6 months without ever running? Any piece of machinery that's been sitting needs to be tuned up. So call Bell Brothers. We'll tune up your furnace for just $87 and guarantee the results. We guarantee that your tuned-up furnace will save you $87 on your energy bills. And we guarantee that your tuned-up furnace won't break down during the season, or we'll immediately refund your money. No questions asked.
Don't delay. Small problems that are easy and inexpensive to fix can quickly turn into big, expensive problems.
Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule your furnace tune-up at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouthwatering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I have terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The former number 2 overall pick and defensive powerhouse Chase Young is being traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a 3rd-round pick, per sources. The fellas will keep you updated on the explosive trade right up until 2 o'clock before the Drive Guys drop their 2 cents. For more on the Niners and the 2023 NFL trade deadline, head to SactownSports.com or pull up on us on that Sactown Sports app. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
2 teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirm. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
A warm reminder that all callers and guests join us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to more Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports, on this Halloween, October 31st. Sactown Sports. And we are breaking down all of the NFL trades, but more specifically, Chase Young headed to the 49ers on a plane right now. I don't know if he's on a plane right now, but he's on the way soon to help Nick Bosa. Help me! 2 guys from Ohio State are now going to get to do it all over again, right? And do it for a San Francisco 49ers team that you didn't think would need defensive line help, but they do. And a lot of people are talking. Tim Kawakami just put out about 10-ish minutes ago that NFL source told him that the Niners aren't done. So we are on pins and needles. We are refreshing our social media, trying to find when this next move is made and what it's for. A lot of people are saying Niners need a cornerback. Isaiah Oliver, he ain't it.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are saying. So names are coming up, and a name that has been coming up that I was just asking Chris about was Jalen Johnson on the Bears, but the Bears just got Montez Sweat.
Right.
So unless I'm missing something, unless they're trying to flip, you can't just flip immediately. It's not flip or flop here, right? So if you go out and you get Montez Sweat for a reason that I can't necessarily understand, why would you then move Jalen Johnson? That's right. If you're trying to be better,
right?
If you're either a buyer or a seller, right? Mm-hmm. But I did think to myself, well, it is the Bears.
It's Chicago. But you are on the right track, and you should be an NFL insider because a minute ago, Ian Rappaport put on his Twitter or his X account, after a day of exploration, Jalen Johnson is expected to stay in Chicago. So, wow. Whoever this mystery player is that Tim Kawakami is saying, and he's doubling down. There are people who are like, oh, like, what? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, oh, real inventive, saying, oh, something will get done by somebody.
Yeah.
Tim Kawakami is backing himself up and saying, I think my track record speaks for itself. I hear what I hear, and I will stick by it. So
wow, so Niners, they're coming down his road.
And he is sticking by the fact that he is hearing that the Niners will make another move. It just will not be for Jalen Johnson. But definitely. I mean, cornerback to me feels like the route that the Niners should go. I mean, you can never have too much depth at that position, and you could maybe argue that, they bring in Chase Young. And so, by getting more pressure on the quarterback, it takes pressure off of the DB. So maybe they don't address DB. I personally just feel like that's what we were already told. We were already told that this D-line was so good it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. I think that we've seen, especially through these last 3 weeks, that it matters. And they should, if I were them, I would definitely look cornerback. And if not cornerback, I would look O-line.
But at the same time, I think you do have to go cornerback. But at the same time, it also seems like the Niners, it's been death by 1,000 cuts. And maybe that was mostly in the Vikings game. But
sure,
I don't really know. It's not, when people think cornerback liability, and we joke about Ryan Gosling on Remember the Titans here very often. But it's not like these dudes are getting super toasted, right? It's just, they can't stay tight enough on some of these shorter routes.
They're playing soft coverage.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Which but that maybe argue is Steve Wilkes.
But is that Steve Wilkes saying, I have to play soft coverage because so they don't get toasted, right? So I don't know, but what we do know is that Tim Kawakami feels like he knows that the Niners are going to go out and make another move. And yes, Caesar916 on the YouTube chat, Chase Young to the 49ers. That is what we have been breaking down. Also, the offensive side of this, you got to put up points. You can't expect any defense besides the steel curtain Steelers, right, to not let a team get above 20 points. And the Niners have not eclipsed 17 points the last 3 games, and that's a problem. So is there any part of you or the listeners or you, Chris Watkins, that thinks, could they randomly get another offensive piece? Doesn't make sense to me, but.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really make sense to me because it's not like Ayuk hasn't performed how you would want him to. I would say he's been great, especially in the role he's being asked to do. And then Debo has just been injured. And, there's a lot of talk on whether the 49ers will look to maybe move on from Debo past this season. In that case, maybe if the Niners do bring in another pass catcher, I would kind of look at the writing on the wall there, but I don't think they need to bring anybody else in because you would essentially, I mean, I don't know what their role would be. If you're going to bring in what I would assume to be a top end receiver, and I also haven't heard, besides Davante Adams, many top end receivers who are interested in being moved. I know Mike Evans.
Yes, who the Raiders said is not going anywhere.
Exactly.
According to Adam Schefter.
So if they are going to bring in a receiver, it would almost have to be somebody who's comfortable being in that third receiver slot. And at that point, again, is that really the most necessary thing that you need to bring in is just receiver depth when you have, Juwan Jennings, who's serviceable. You have Ray McLeod, who's serviceable. And then, you have Ronnie Bell as well, who we haven't seen in a while, but, he showed some promise earlier in this year as well. So I would look other places. I don't think their skill players are necessarily a place where they need help. I think obviously Christian McCaffrey's incredible. You have Elijah Mitchell back there, even though you haven't really given him many opportunity. And then behind that, even you have JP Mason, who's had some good games. So I wouldn't say any of those skill position players they really need to address. Who knows, though? Maybe tight end, like George Kittle had that one big week, but besides that, hasn't really had much boom in his step. I remember seeing a couple weeks back that like Mike Gesicki is somebody that might be on the 49ers
Is Darren
radar.
Waller? Well, I don't know about Darren Waller's blocking, but again, you would just be helping. You wouldn't be replacing George Kittle. I don't know if that
like tight end, if any position makes sense for them to bring in a skill position, it would probably be a tight end, because let's not forget they also tried to bring in, I think they drafted 2 tight ends in this past
Cam
draft.
Latu, and that just did not work.
Exactly. So maybe that's still a position that's on their radar that they feel like can, because you could argue, I mean, tight end is quarterback's best friend. It's their safety blanket. You could argue if you want to make sure that Brock Purdy feels safe and feels comfortable no matter what, I mean, getting another tight end wouldn't be a bad move either.
Well, no, I don't think it would. And, the name Derrick Henry has come up, and I think people love Christian McCaffrey, but I think, and I've seen Larry Kruger, who's going to be on our airwaves a little bit later in the evening, people talk about getting Christian McCaffrey away from the amount of carries he's been having and to split him out wide, right? A lot of people think that Christian McCaffrey could have been an all-pro player as a
like
slot receiver,
corner,
right? So that might be something that you could look into. And again, and Derrick Henry, according to the Titans, what I saw, I think it was last night on Monday Night Football, people don't believe that the Titans will move off of Derrick Henry either. I am interested in how you feel about why these teams, is it just because they don't want to risk letting the fan base know that they're out, right? Because I would think most fan bases, and I spent about the first couple segments here just roasting the Raiders, and Chris hopped in with me. Of our blood pressure went up, right? But I feel like most fans understand, especially in a sport like the NFL, in a league like the NFL, where there's no lottery. There's no lottery like in basketball. There's not the minors in baseball. You stink. And you draft high, and you have an opportunity to hit, and hopefully you don't miss. So I don't understand why teams like the Raiders are refusing and being stubborn and not moving off of Davante Adams. I don't understand why teams like the Tennessee Titans, who, Will Levis, Mr. Mayo Man, looked good last Sunday, but I don't know if that's anything to really hang your hat on. Why you don't want to move off of Derrick Henry. It's just this stubbornness that I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but as a fan, I don't want to see my team in purgatory. I would rather just embrace the stink. We all joke about it together, ha, 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 and we get back going. But this weird, let's stay between 7 and 10 if you're lucky wins, more like 6 to 9, makes no sense to me. I don't think the Niners necessarily need Derrick Henry. I think that the Niners just need to use JP Mason more. Right?
I would agree. That's what I was going to say.
Just use it more.
To me, the answer is use the backs that are available in there. Like, you're not even giving them really a chance. They've slowly started to give Elijah Mitchell like a couple carries, but they're definitely not sharing the load there. I mean, it seems like they don't want to take Christian McCaffrey off the field, which I understand, but I mean, it's naturally going to lead to a lot of questions on when is this guy getting any rest. So to me, I think the Niners have enough running back talent to more than get by. It's just they're choosing to not use that talent. No, and I don't know if bringing in Derrick Henry is a better answer, because frankly, the reason why they don't want to take Christian McCaffrey off the field is because he's so great that it's why would you want him off of the field? So though, yes, you can get a guy like whatever. Let's keep using Derrick Henry as the example. You can bring him in, but bringing him in also is taking away touches from Christian McCaffrey.
And what in the world are you going to give up for that? You already are lacking picks. I don't think you should do it.
I would imagine we'd probably hear some smoke too if a guy like Derrick Henry or a big name were being shopped around right now. I would assume with 20 minutes or so to go until the deadline, I would assume we'd probably be hearing some smoke.
All right. 20 more minutes, just like Chris said, on this now trade deadline special.
I know.
Of Stiles and Watkins.
Was not our intention.
Yes. Hopefully when we get back, the last news for the Niners, according to Tim Kawakami, has broken. If not, we'll keep powering through. And we still got Kings talk for you. Don't you worry about that. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's that time of year. The kids are back in school, and it won't be long before they're bringing home more than just homework. Colds, flu, and viruses are making their rounds, along with miserable seasonal allergies. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage, the nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. Navage helps provide natural, immediate relief. Listen to the words of Michelle, a verified Navage user. I've had problems for as long as I can remember and finally found this wonderful product. What a difference it has made. I am so excited about this. I tell everyone, thank you, unquote. This cold and flu season, join nearly 4 million people and experience how Navage can help you breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins talking Niners mostly today with the trade deadline, getting Chase Young from Washington to bolster up that pass rush. Ooh. Bills go out and get Rasul Douglas from Green Bay. That's another.
That's good.
Yeah, that's another DB off of the.
Good point. Off
the board. As we talked about, some of these other teams that have kind of made some moves, Jalen Johnson, but why did the Bears go out and get Montez Sweat? Now it's being reported that Jalen Johnson is expected to stay. So Tim Kawakami, that's why we've been continuing to tease this as we discuss the Niners and the trades and what they've done and what they may be doing. Tim Kawakami has put his reputation a little bit in a small way on the line a little bit. You know, part of his his reputation in saying that a source told him, an NFL source told him that the Niners aren't done. And we are staring at the clock here, and I'm looking at 13 minutes left for the Niners to do something, and maybe they still will, or maybe Tim Kawakami got some different information, or maybe it was Jalen Johnson, and then the Bears said, we actually don't want to move off him, and the Niners saying, okay, we're not going to do anything else.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that could be it.
We have no idea, and again, like there's only 12 minutes now left till the deadline, so, and it's interesting that a lot of these things do just kind of pop up out of nowhere, but it's interesting that, we usually hear, oh yeah, these guys have been shopped around, and maybe it's somebody on the Broncos would be where I'm looking at. If there's a team that I was expecting to make some noise today, it was the Broncos, who were potentially shipping off Jerry Jeudy and obviously shipped off Randy Gregory earlier this year. They cut Frank Clark. They have some really enticing. You want to talk about some DBs? Mm-hmm. The Niners are making calls right now on guys like Patrick Surtain.
Yes,
that's a name where if they're looking to bring somebody like him in, that's a massive day for the 49ers. So hopefully, who knows? There's no smoke anywhere saying that it's leaning towards any specific player or anything like that. But we're just seeing that allegedly the Niners have something else in line to make today an even bigger day.
Yeah, Surtain was a name that we saw initially a couple weeks ago. But haven't seen very much. And then, of course, again, who are the Broncos, right? Where do they fall on that spectrum?
Same conversation as that Raider talk.
Because they just beat the Chiefs. They just beat the Chiefs, right? So they beat the Chiefs. Now they're thinking, hey, maybe. And it's basically the opposite of the Niners.
Right.
The Niners actually aren't bad, but they went out and made a crazy
They're almost
move.
convincing themselves that they're bad.
Yes, so they can go out and give away picks. We don't want to miss on any picks, so we're just going to give them all away. We're just going to continue to give picks away. You can't. It's like that,
you can't miss if you don't miss.
That meme,
if you don't take
that meme. The guy pointing to his finger or pointing to his head. You can't miss picks if you don't have picks to miss.
Yep.
So the Niners hope that they don't miss with Chase Young being on the other side of Nick Bosa. I know everybody's been asking the question, wasn't the defensive line supposed to be good? Why did they need to bring someone else in? Some people say it's been because of the coverage. Who knows?
Yep.
But that is a great question. The Niners are deciding we're not going to waste our time trying to answer that.
Yeah, we're not going to try to figure it out.
We're just going to keep making it better.
Yep.
We're just going to keep making it better. So we continue to monitor the situation and see if the Niners do have one more trick left up their sleeve on this Halloween. Real quick, Al on the YouTube chat says, I think the breaking news should be that everyone on the show unanimously, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my.
Tough Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Here we go from the top.
From the top. Unanimously hated on the Three Musketeers with no pushback. WTH, Musketeers are fire. I don't know, Al.
The same miracle.
We are
They're
all
not
a part of
bad.
the
What
same
are
miracle.
in Three
It's
Musketeers?
just the nougat.
Isn't it nougat?
It's just the nougat.
It's Snickers, but instead of peanut butter, it's or caramel, it's nougat.
Yeah, it's nougat.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Is
they're not bad.
It's one note. It's just like
one
you have it.
note.
It's like
they're not bad. We weren't hating. We just said they're and that's
I'll hate on it. I don't think it's that good.
Yeah,
I don't love it. It's one of those where it's like I got the variety pack and I already ate all the Snickers. And
that's true.
So one of those bummer candies. I'm eating it and I'm like, this is probably going to be a cavity. And in a way that other candies dispel that for me. Three Musketeers is one of those. I'm like, this is messing my teeth up.
Yeah.
Juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Sorry, Al. Love you.
If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down for something I really like.
Exactly.
And look, that's going back to the Niners. If they're going to go down.
We better stop talking about candy because last time we talked about candy, some crazy stuff.
I know. I'm going to get the thriller bed going again, and maybe that'll
just recreate the scene.
Well, maybe we do need to talk about candy so this last deal can be made because we're looking at 9 minutes here.
Yep.
We're looking at 9 minutes here. This is a live reacting to the trade deadline and also just a little bit of candy talk as well because it is Halloween.
It is Halloween.
But yeah, man, there has to be some.
Here's the trade music.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
I will never hear Michael Jackson's Thriller the same ever again.
We have on the text line, and again, text in, call in, be a part of the conversation. 916-339-1140. On the text line, talking about Brock Purdy. Do you think he'll be, this from the 925, shout out 925, keeping it live. Do you think he'll be a more mobile version of Alex Smith. That is about Brock Purdy.
Yeah, spiritually, I would say so. Because what is Alex Smith but like a game manager? Like, yeah, like, are they going to – like Alex Smith was very conservative. I would say that's maybe the biggest difference is it seems like Brock in his nature is just a little bit more of a risk taker, a little bit more of a gunslinger, if you will. And Alex was really just about minimizing turnovers, which is great. And, keeping the ball moving. But with Alex Smith, you were never getting explosives. There was very rarely where you're going to get a 25-yard throw down the field.
Right.
And, at least with Brock, he'll sprinkle in, 2 or 3 of those a game every so often. And I like the call. Again, I think spiritually, yes, I would say the hope is that Brock can essentially be Alex Smith. And that's not I don't think
people
that's
are
bad.
going to find that disrespectful.
That's more speaking to how people viewed Alex Smith, which is fine. I just think Alex Smith was okay. He was average. He definitely was not great. He was good at points, and a lot of more times than not, he left you wanting more. And I think that Brock, when he settles into who he is, I think you'll be like, we can win with this guy. But at the same time, there's definitely better quarterbacks out there that we can go explore.
And I think that was the biggest thing, right? And this Justin Herbert versus Brock thing has gone on a lot longer than I thought.
That.
Well, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago with Michael Irvin. Because Michael Irvin said he would. Michael Irvin started this. He said I would take Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert,
right?
Which started this whole thing because Justin Herbert hasn't really won.
Brock
Purdy has, and we can. And Justin Herbert hasn't really played that well lately. I mean, he had the missed throws on that primetime game, but honestly, you can remove Justin Herbert if you want. What did we just watch Joe Burrow do? Mm-hmm. Right? There's levels, man. Yeah. And that's all that I think people have been trying to say when you do the put this guy on this team and put this here and that there.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is a dude.
Yes.
Right? And Brock Purdy is nice, and you can probably win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. But there is a line that we have to get to say, hey, come on now. This isn't the same.
No.
Right?
I mean, he's just a guy. Like, he really is. Like, he's not the guy.
Well, there you go.
It's a jag. Just a guy.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's just a guy. I think he's better than that. He's just not a dude.
Brock Purdy, not a guy, just a dude.
Yes. No, you got it backwards.
Not a dude, just a guy.
Kind of.
I mean, the question is, is there anything that makes Brock special? Is there anything that sets him apart?
His processing. That's the only thing I would say that makes him special.
I would agree.
And his 10-second split. That's the
10-second Lamar split, right, which he's shown some ability. I mean, and having elite processing, how good does that, if that's your one trait, how good of a core, where in the ranks, how high up can you go? And, how much does that even matter? I mean, I think that's really and how much does any of it matter if Brock is the 10th best or the 17th best quarterback if the Niners are winning?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, he just needs to be good enough to win. And I think we've seen, even in playoff situations, he can play good enough to win. And I think that's really the only answer that the 49ers care about.
All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, it'll be past 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So either something would have happened or something didn't. And then we get into some Kings talk, because a lot to talk about with De'Aaron Fox and those boys from the Golden One Center. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The former number 2 overall pick and defensive powerhouse Chase Young is being traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a third-round pick, per sources. The fellas will keep you updated on the explosive trade right up until 2 o'clock before the Drive guys drop their 2 cents. For more on the Niners and the 2023 NFL trade deadline, head to SactownSports.com or pull up on us on that Sactown Sports app. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
Two teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirm. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back into the last hour of Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
One more hour. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Just a wild show today. Just wild on this Halloween. Wild. That's what's been going on.
It's kind of been scary. That got no play.
Yeah, no. Well, you didn't let it sit. You just saw it in my eyes. I don't know. YouTube chat's been going crazy. Some good calls today as we break down Chase Young headed to the Bay. I hope, if you go to the Bay, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think, okay, Washington, I don't know how Washington's tacos are.
Probably not great.
Someone's got to take him. Yeah, take him down to San Francisco. Yeah. Take him to the Mission, get a Mission burrito, get him some tacos, get him well acquainted with the area. And then he's going to find out that he plays an hour away. And he's going to be very confused. Hope
you like San Jose, buddy.
Yeah,
Santana Row.
Shout out Santa Clara. Don't say Santa Clara Niners, though. People don't like that.
No.
YouTube chat been going off. It is still Halloween. We're talking candy. Lemonheads getting some action here.
Yes,
so
sir.
shout out Lemonheads. Well, Simone
Absolutely.
had said sour earlier. Did you guys get down with the Warheads back in the day? Was
Yes, I have one. Oh, I'm going to bring it in the studio. I got one on me right
You
now.
have one
I'm
on you?
packing.
just strapped with
Keep that thing
Lemonheads?
on me, okay?
I packed that
Especially
thing
on
too.
a day like today,
On
you
a day
know,
like today.
you never know.
Shout out to the Warheads.
Things
That's
might
all
get
good.
busy.
Yeah. Now she really is coming
French
in.
Simone, you know, she's ready
Yeah.
to go.
It better. Is it yellow?
I only have one.
Wow.
I'm going to give it to him.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you.
You sure you
Thank
don't want
so
it?
much. Wow. You know, my
Wow,
little
look at
sister
that.
just kind of got, and I'm sure she wasn't the only one. She would run it underwater until it wasn't sour anymore. I'm like, you just
What?
had normal candy.
Yeah, why
would you do that?
what?
And it was my favorite flavor.
Run it-
That's serial killer activity.
Why would you do that? I don't
That's
understand
crazy.
that. I don't understand that.
What?
Do you have a favorite scary movie?
That's a good question. Scary movie. I mean, the first Paranormal Activity is pretty good, and I would say the first Conjuring. The first Conjuring
Yeah.
is
Oof.
really, really good.
Woof.
Yeah.
Like the first time I saw that, I really was like, that was one of those where I'm driving home from the theater and I'm checking my rear view every like
No.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
What about you, Stiles?
I go with The Strangers. That's my favorite scary movie.
Never seen it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a good one. It's
The
a good one
Strangers,
because it could really happen. These people were just tripping and decided.
The title
Today's
already
your
has
day.
me pretty scared. I can already
Today's
like
your
make
day.
some inferences.
By the way,
Like,
just quickly, as we're breaking down everyone's favorite scary movie, Simone's up next. It is past 1 p.m.
it is.
So Tim Kawakami, if you go on social media, they are letting him have it right now.
Oh,
but he's
no.
wearing it.
He
He's-
might get the last laugh.
He's
still,
wearing
you know?
it.
Things
He's
usually
wearing it.
trickle in after the deadline. It's just like the calls have to stop at 1 o'clock. So like it, you know, you
Go
can
on.
still send it like so the trades can happen between the teams.
Uh-huh.
Those discussions have to be done by 1 o'clock, but you still have to send it into the league and it's got to get processed and then it gets broken. So there's still some things that could trickle in for the next couple hours, but for the time being, Tim Kawakami is definitely
Ian
doing it.
Rappaport, this was 4 minutes ago on X. The NFL's trade deadline has hit. No more trades, period.
Yep. Emil just came in here as well. Said, we're all done here.
We're done.
So-
It's over.
Okay.
It's finished. So the Niners, even though they didn't end up doing anything else, they did make a big splash. Once again, if you're just now joining us, Chase Young headed to the Bay Area. And all the Niners had to give up was a third-round pick for 2024. Whether you think that's too much, the bottom line is the Niners are all in right now. Chase Young on an expiring deal. They either will have to extend him or he will become a free agent. So we'll see what the Niners think. Do they want to see what he does first? Do they want to see how he works well or doesn't work well with Nick Bosa? We will all wait to see that. Now back to Simone for your scary movie.
Blade.
I have not seen Blade, but I
love
definitely
that.
don't think it's a
Wait.
scary movie.
That Let's Fight. It's my favorite Halloween movie. I watch it every
Okay, no,
year.
that's fine. It's just not scary to me.
Fair.
If that's scary to
All right.
you,
No,
don't
no,
watch The
no,
Strangers.
no. What's the one? I can't think of it. What? Like it has the guy with the red face that pops up right behind the guy. They're like sitting at a table. You guys don't know what I'm talking about?
It?
No, he's got a red face. He only pops in for like half of a second for like a jump scare in this movie that I'm struggling to think of. I'm gonna go to the YouTube chat. I got this.
You get to it after the break. You'll get to it. By the way, they came out with It Too, and I almost watched. That was a couple years ago, and I almost watched it, but I refused to watch a scary movie that was 3 hours
Thank you.
long.
Insidious.
Insidious. Okay,
That's a scary one.
didn't
I will
think
allow
Insidious
that.
was that
Yeah,
good.
What?
I didn't think it was scary.
What?
I will allow that. I will allow
I gotta
that.
try and look at the plot, but from what I remember, Insidious did not do it for me.
All right. Well, that ends our trade deadline special.
Yes.
The Niners made a huge move. And if you are truly in the all-in state of mind, I think this makes sense. Again, did we think going into the season that defensive line would be where the Niners would
Felt
want-
like they needed to address the most?
Not particularly, but unfortunately, that's where they are now.
Yeah.
Yes, and that still means you're still going to see Isaiah Oliver out there. The DB cornerback situation has not changed. How do you feel? Let us know. Call line, text line, all that jazz. But you know what it is. One more hour left. That's been hijacked. The show is hijacked
It's just absolutely
by
been
Halloween
stolen.
and trade deadlines. So it's time to talk Beam Team.
Thank you.
It's time to bring it in for the Beam regime and talk about De'Aaron Fox and the fact that he is out tomorrow against the Warriors. And I know, Chris, Steph Curry bothers you, but homie is on a heater. So how much does this game matter now that we know De'Aaron Fox isn't in, right? That kind of changes how we feel about things. Do you just expect, okay, Kings, just get through it? Maybe you get lucky because the Warriors love to trick off games that they should win.
Definitely.
Who knows what happens? They're having their own issues with Andrew Wiggins not finishing games. Kuminga's been doing a heck of a job. So I don't know what's going on there, but Chris Paul has been playing very well for them. A lot of people didn't know how he was going to be. He's been playing well. How are you feeling with De'Aaron Fox out? Not to say you would kick a game or whatever the case is.
Of course not.
But are you really expecting much from this Kings team? Even though they beat the Lakers without Sabonis and De'Aaron, but you got to go to the Bay. It's one of those situations where if you lose, hey, we don't have our guy. But if you win, it could really make people feel good about where the Kings are at.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the Kings are kind of in a nothing to lose situation, especially more so heading into this Golden State game. Like you already did fall to Golden State, so it's not a big deal if you lose to them again. You know, whatever. You already felt that pain, and losing it to them again without your best player isn't going to hurt that much. But all they can really do is impress. Like if the Kings keep that game competitive and don't win, I think that's a positive. I think we can say, okay, clearly this team hasn't taken a major step back with their best player out, and Davion Mitchell's able to kind of step in, and it's not that massive of a step back. And of course, they could look really terrible, and we can say, oh my gosh, De'Aaron Fox, what are we going to do until De'Aaron Fox comes back? Doesn't seem like it's that serious of an injury, so it's not something to worry about too much. But again, I just feel like the Kings are this is a good opportunity for them to get some confidence too, because sometimes you pick up a win without your best player, you feel great as a unit. You're like, okay, now when he comes back, we feel like we trust the guys that we have here to put together something special. And I think they should view this time without De'Aaron Fox as just that. This is an opportunity for maybe Colby Jones can get some time in his first NBA real action. I saw, practice videos are just trickling out right now. Colby Jones is practicing with the second unit. Does that mean that Colby Jones is kind of in the rotation as it stands right now? Trey Lyles is back at practice. That's great to see. I feel like the Kings are in a good spot. It's definitely not ideal to not have your best player, but again, it's an opportunity for you guys to come together as a team and really make some noise and prove some people wrong too, that you guys aren't just De'Aaron Fox deep. A lot of people, this is a great opportunity for Sabonis as well to show, De'Aaron's a great player, but I'm also an all-star and an all-NBA caliber player as well. I can help this team out still.
Right. And Kendrick Perkins was on the Drive Guys last night talking about why, the hate that Sabonis gets and all these different types of things. And I understand from watching it on both sides why he could be underrated or undervalued. Because, again, he's almost similar to De'Aaron Fox in a way, because it's not that one thing that he does really well. And he kind of suffers from Jokic just doing everything that he does just better.
Yes,
right? So that's pretty tough as well. I would it be fair, and I don't want to be too nice to Sabonis, but I also don't want to be disrespectful. Would you say, is it this close? Everybody says there's Steph Curry, and if it wasn't for Steph Curry, we would talk about Damian Lillard.
Sure, yeah.
In a much different way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's the same situation with Jokic and Sabonis? If there was no Jokic, Sabonis would be viewed differently.
Yes, actually, that's a great way of putting it, definitely, because he's kind of taken his corner a little bit.
Right.
So Jokic has taken he's like a ridiculous playmaker while also being he's a center and he's still got the same abilities as a point guard.
Yeah.
Jokic owns that corner. And like you said, Sabonis does the same thing, but just clearly and obviously at a lesser level, and not necessarily, that's no shade to Sabonis. That's more speaking of how ridiculous Jokic is. Yeah, definitely. I think that he would be the one. He would be the one when you say he much like his dad when he played. Like he's really he would be one of the only big men in the NBA, maybe with the exception of Bam Adebayo, who has that kind of making responsibility and playmaking capability as well. And so, yeah, definitely. I think the conversation would be way different.
Yeah. He's going to have an opportunity. He's going to continue to have an opportunity. And really, I think that's some of the things that the Kings have kind of pocketed and put in their mind. Okay, these are the things that we want to focus on, and these are the things that we want to make sure we continue to do this season. And we talk about that depth piece and how important it is to have it. And this is a perfect situation for the Kings to show what type of depth they have.
Yep,
and I think they're going to do just that. They have a nice run here. And look, the Warriors, like I said, they're feeling good right now. Steph is playing out of his mind, but you still need help from other guys. And they had a couple bench guys step up when they played last night as well. So I think it'll be a really good game. I think that if you survive the avalanche at the beginning, you survive the avalanche, you'll be okay. And then towards the end of the game, I want to see how they defend Steph Curry if the game is close, because we saw what happened when they played on Friday. Do they change anything there? All right. Get into a break. When we get back, De'Aaron Fox is out. Who needs to step up the most for the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night in San Francisco? They actually do play in San Francisco, unlike the Niners.
Right.
Got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Well, the return of Jimmy G didn't mean much versus Detroit. He threw his league-leading 9th interception, but also didn't have much time as he was sacked 6 times. Possession of the ball, also a huge difference in the game, as Detroit had the ball for almost twice the amount of time as Vegas and ran 36 more plays. That's your Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We're back, Sactown Sports. And we do have some clarity here. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. on a beautiful Halloween Tuesday. It's just been outstanding by everybody. The YouTube chat, the callers, the texters, outstanding work. So Tim Kawakami came out and said, as far as the Niners and the trade deadline, that an NFL source told him that there was going to be another trade. A lot of people have been talking about, what about cornerback? What are they going to do there? The DBs, Isaiah Oliver, we got to do something. And they have just released, Chris has this up right now, they have released what the trade was going to be and what happened, which is just a bizarre situation. But Chris, tell us what you got.
So this is from at Wes Steinberg, who is an NFL and New York Giants insider over there in the Big Apple. And he puts on his Twitter account that the Giants had a trade agreed to with the San Francisco 49ers for one Adoree Jackson.
Wow.
However, they failed to report the deal to the league in time. So the deal does not go through. I was wrong. Turns out it's not like the NBA where you just need to have the call done. You apparently need to call it into the league office by that 1 o'clock deadline. And apparently they just missed it. So don't quite know how that works, where Tim Kawakami hears about something about 30 minutes beforehand and is saying it sounds like the deal is done, but the team can't get the call in time. So
that's just a classic, and I don't know whose fault it is, but it sounds like the Giants' fault.
Yeah, kind of.
That's just what it
Kind of sounds.
That's
like
what they are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's just where they're at right now.
Yep.
So no new cornerback for the 49ers, but they do have a new pass rusher to go on the opposite side of Nick Bosa. So I would take that as a win.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think a lot of people still have questions as far as the areas of the defense that we didn't think was very good going into the season. Not the group that we did think was good. So we'll keep an eye if the Niners pick up anybody, not via trade, but just, you know, whatever the case may be, we will keep you in the loop on that.
I feel like it almost hurts more to know that deal almost happened, because now as the season progresses and then anytime there's any issues in the secondary, you're just going to say, well, we should have a Dory Jackson on top of this. And so this is
very much arson judge.
Yes,
arson judge. So that's a tough one. And quickly, as we'll get into a little bit more throughout the week, but we referenced earlier in the show The Athletic, and they had a top 6 messes in the NFL. And this was obviously before the Chase Young trade. They have the Rams at 6, the Chiefs at 5, the Falcons at 4, the Vikings at 3, the Niners at 2, and the Bears at 1, if you want to check that out as well. It's a little bit bizarre because to me it sounds like the messes are teams that are in that purgatory to kind of good phase.
Right.
But then at the end, he just throws the Bears in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, yeah, they are a mess.
They are a mess. But if you got the Niners and the Vikings and the Falcons and the Chiefs and the Rams, the Bears, they should be number 1. But where's the Raiders? Right. Where are the Bucks?
It's Cardinals.
Where are the Cardinals? Where are any of those?
Giants.
Where are the Giants? I don't know what the kind of the criteria was there, but the Niners number 2 on that list, looking to get off of those types of lists and get back to the top of the power rankings list, and that's why they go out and they make that move for Chase Young. As we get back into Kings talk, De'Aaron Fox will be out tomorrow night against the Warriors as the Kings try to avenge that home loss against Steph and the gang. And the question is, who should step up? Not who should start.
Yeah.
Who should step up? We don't know how long De'Aaron Fox is going to be out, but we do know how important he is to this team. And Davion Mitchell could start, but am I actually expecting him to, quote unquote, step
fill
up?
Those shoes?
No,
right.
I'm not. And it's going to be by committee, right? But I'm going to think Malik Monk, we're going to need to see you. Kevin Huerter, we are starting to get back on the right track, but we haven't seen a heater yet.
Right.
We need a Huerter heater, hopefully in San Francisco. And Harrison Barnes, we continue to talk about Harrison Barnes and what he can bring to this team as well. If you could only pick one person, who would you go with?
I'm going to go with somebody off of that list, and I'm actually going to go with Keegan Murray, because we just heard Mike Brown the other day talk about how he wants Keegan to hunt shots. He's got to be more aggressive looking for his shots, and especially with De'Aaron Fox out, he's got to flip that thing as soon as possible, where he needs to understand right here, right now, the Kings need scores.
Yeah.
And when your number 1 scorer is not out, we're going to look at you, Keegan, who a lot of people in the offseason were talking about Keegan stepping up to be that 3rd or maybe even 2nd best scorer on this team. Now is a great opportunity for you to take this sophomore leap here and figure it out. There's a great opportunity. You won't be taking away from anybody else with De'Aaron out. You know, there's plenty of opportunity to be had now. I would love to see Keegan just really go for it. Take 20 shots in the game. Like be this team's primary offensive focus, and let's just see what it looks like. Let's see how many points you're able to get. Let's see what kind of different shots that you're willing to take and make. I would love to see Keegan have like a 20-plus point game against Golden State on the road, somewhere where he became really comfortable. Like Keegan's first really good game in that playoff series was game 4, and he knows this opponent. You really can't be walking into a more comfortable situation unless you are at home. So I would love to see Keegan Murray take advantage of this opportunity and put up, 20 plus points and really establish himself as someone who's ready to make a statement this year.
Well, and speaking of, you have the Kings losing to the Warriors without Draymond.
Yeah.
And now you have the Kings about to play the Warriors without De'Aaron Fox.
Right.
And the Warriors have Draymond.
Yep.
So it is not going to be an easy thing.
That's true, right. If anything, it's gonna be way harder.
It's gonna be way harder. And Draymond, really, dude? So now all of a sudden, now that you're home, You show up. Now, he did show his face.
He did.
He did show his
He
face
was on the big
Friday.
screen
He
for a second.
He was on the big screen. He chunked up the deuces to the Kings fans. I wish they would have left it on him longer so he could really get booed. But he was in the building. But you got Draymond back. The Warriors are trying to get rolling. We've talked about how important it is for these older teams to get off to a hot start. And, to me, if you're the Kings, you're kind of playing with house money for this game.
That's what I think.
For this game in particular, because obviously Steph's doing his thing. They get Draymond back. Everybody loves CP3 now. I don't know. This is just a weird situation still, CP3 being on the Warriors. So now that the Warriors are where they're at, Klay Thompson hasn't been heat check Klay. He's been kind of letting the game come to him. So if the Kings are able to come in there and say, y'all think you're vibing? Y'all think everything is goody? It's not goody. We don't even have our dude. And we're going to come in here to your house, and we still believe that we got something for you, because Malik Monk didn't play particularly well against the Warriors. I would look for him to do some things. And the one thing you would think about if you do want to start Davion is now you have Davion on Steph.
All game, and 30 minutes.
Right, and nobody can hold Steph down. Don't get me wrong. But having Davion on Steph and maybe going to the trapping that they did for a little bit of the first time they played on Friday night, you might, again, you're sitting there saying, Klay, if you're going to beat us, then you can beat us, brother. Yeah. But we got to live with it. No disrespect whatsoever.
Yeah, I love that Davion talking point so much because it's just a great like the dude is still young. Like he's still so young in his career, got his first playoff experience last year. I cannot wait to see what he learned from that playoff series last year and what he's going to take in, because I know Davion Mitchell for sure. I mean, he didn't play much in game 6, game 7. I know all offseason long, all he was thinking about was what could I have done better? How could I have, even in the opportunities I had, where could I have shined, or where do I need to get better? And I know that's how he attacked this entire offseason, was just with that in mind, probably every single day, just thinking about that Warrior series and how he couldn't get on the floor in game 6 or 7. So this is a great opportunity for him to show the amount of growth that he had over the offseason. Again, we didn't see him score a single point in those first 2 games. This is a fantastic. We've been talking about how the De'Aaron's injury leads to more opportunities. This is a fantastic opportunity for Davion to show how much he's progressed in just this offseason, because frankly, we haven't gotten a real chance to see it yet.
Right. And I think, and you've talked about where he got drafted and whether that's fair or not, who knows? The bottom line is at this point in time, you need to show what you can bring to the team.
Or just to the league in general.
To the league in general.
He's got, I think, 1 more year left on his contract.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about the Kings at this point. Like Davion, as he's not fighting for his NBA life. I think he's definitely solidified as an NBA player, but what is he? Like, is he somebody who's going to scratch the surface as a starter one day? Is he a backup? Is he somebody who's just a role player? Like, this is a big statement year for Davion.
Well, and we talked about guys that were overhyped and never lived up to their expectation. And, it happens all the time with these higher picks. It is what it is. These lottery picks, they don't all hit. I think Davion at this point, maybe he still thinks about it. Maybe he doesn't. But, I mean, if you're – and maybe it's just the pick in general. And he was riding high off of Baylor in the national championship and all that jazz. But I don't know how many teams are in the, not to say he's done. He's not done. But how many teams, you got GP2, but GP2 can jump out the gym at least, right? Yeah. And how many guys are really looking for a 6-foot guard with elite defense that is, I wouldn't call him a liability on offense, but is not going to give you much offensively. Exactly. I don't know how many teams are necessarily lining up for that.
Exactly.
Maybe for a playoff run to say we need somebody to lock down one of these guards, but
I don't know if anyone's going to say, I want 3 years of Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm just going to sign up for him. Like, I just don't even know if people know what his role is at this point.
Yeah.
He's a basketball player.
That's right, Mike. That is right.
Trying to figure it out. All right, Stiles and Watkins got to get to a break. When we get back, Sam Amick had an article about rest and how it could affect the league in positive and in negative ways, and how that affects the Sacramento Kings, because the Kings, they got some dogs, as Malik Monk says. They don't like to come out, but should they? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports, and SactownSports.com.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
At SimpliSafe, we've designed award-winning home security with advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
916-520-9990 now. Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouthwatering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on!
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Tuesday and happy Halloween. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The former number 2 overall pick and defensive powerhouse Chase Young is being traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a 3rd-round pick. Per sources. The fellas will keep you updated on the explosive trade right up until 2 o'clock before the Drive Guys drop their 2 cents. For more on the Niners and the 2023 NFL trade deadline, head to SactownSports.com or pull up on us on that Sactown Sports app. After missing Week 7's contest, Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the field for a little Monday Night Football, but couldn't get lucky for Las Vegas as the Raiders fall to the Lions 26-14.
2 teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this night by the Detroit Lions.
After months of speculation, James Harden is a 76er no more. The LA Clippers acquired Harden in a blockbuster trade late last night, NBA sources confirmed. Stiles and Watkins are going to be breaking down how this impacts the West and details of the trade all show long for you.
The one with the beard, James Harden.
I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's wrap up Stiles and
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, 30 more minutes, one more segment until crosstalk with the Drive guys who had Kendrick Perkins on yesterday. Very fun conversation that I heard. I was doing some paperwork in the building, and I heard it going on, so that was a treat. I'm sure they'll play some of that, and we'll play some of that sound tomorrow as well. It's been a very Niners-heavy show with the trade deadline, the Niners trading for Chase Young, and almost getting Adoree Jackson did not end up happening because the Giants are a sham of an organization and they did not get their paperwork in time. So now,
hey, shout out Whammy.
Yeah, so now the Niners have to decide what they're going to do at the cornerback position, and just hope that with the guys that they have and Chase Young and Nick Bosa, they can get to the quarterback. And that's a good point from Russell here on the YouTube chat. Imagine signing Nick Bosa to that contract and then having to trade for Chase Young. 49ers down bad. And I haven't really thought about it like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what you sign a guy like that for, is to alleviate some of the need to bring in other guys like that. And, clearly that's not how the Niners view it. They view it as like, okay, this is almost doubling, like this is almost insurance on that, because not only if Bosa's out, but also that should help Bosa make life way easier for Bosa as well. So you could look at it either way, but definitely, I mean, when they signed Nick Bosa, I definitely think that the Niners didn't expect them to think that they needed more after.
No, that is not what they had. And what you would have thought is that Adoree Jackson move would have gotten done because they would have focused on that first.
Exactly.
They clearly, and I know they have multiple people calling multiple people, but they clearly wanted to make sure this Chase Young deal got done.
Mm-hmm.
And the Adoree Jackson, hey, we'll figure it out. Maybe they were going at the same time. Bottom line is they were not able to get another cornerback, another defensive back to shore up that secondary. And they're just going to pray that those guys on the defensive line, Nick Bosa, Hargrave, and the boys, that everyone's calling them all pro this, all pro that, all that. Well, they haven't been all pro nothing. They haven't been doing anything. And Nick Bosa, he has not been getting double teamed. That's not an excuse. Maybe it invigorates him having his Ohio State brethren with him there as well, because something has to give with the 49ers. And we have transitioned over to Kings talk with De'Aaron Fox now listed as out against the Warriors, and that brought up a great point with friend of the station. We got to get him on our show as well, but friend of the station, Sam Amick, writer for The Athletic, who had a nice article that kind of talked about the rest that the league is trying to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of games you need to play and how that could affect the Kings. Chris, why don't you break that down?
Yeah, so essentially, I mean, Sam Amick, the basis of Sam's article is essentially, does De'Aaron's injury raise the question of how we should handle these these actually injured athletes?
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about guys who are just resting and doing the Kawhi Leonard thing, doing what Devin Booker's done these past couple games. This is more so, Sam points out, like, look at De'Aaron, the box or the play-by-play from after De'Aaron's injury. De'Aaron Fox subbed out for Davion Mitchell. He returns with about 6:45 to go, comes in, draws two fouls, defends LeBron James, gets a rebound, flying out on the corner, plays in overtime. He does all that on a bum ankle. Mm-hmm. And of course, when you're playing, I mean, Alan, you were an athlete. Mm-hmm. When you're playing and you get hurt, that adrenaline's pumping. And like, yes, you feel it, something's wrong, but you're like, I think it's just a tweak. And random things happen throughout the course of a game where you are able to shake it off. And sometimes, you might think it's a big thing, but it goes away in 2 minutes and then you never think of it again. Mm-hmm. And so you don't blame him for at least trying it out. I mean, we saw Klay Thompson, famously sprint in the hallway tunnel when he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
It's when those things wear off, when the adrenaline wears off and your ankle then is swollen and the next day comes and you're in excruciating pain and you get the MRI results and you see you just played through an actual kind of real injury.
Right.
Is that good? Like, is the fact that the NBA is essentially saying, hey, if you don't meet your 65 game requirement, you're going to possibly mess up a future bag.
Right.
I don't know how many guys, does this now cause, when guys are near that borderline, will they play through it And is that actually good for the longevity of these players and for the longevity of these teams? Like if De'Aaron Fox would have been playing through this injury because he really wants to keep his team in the playoff race, like Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray did last year, but it's at the expense of his ankle never getting back to a point where he can look like the De'Aaron Fox that we see now. Is it worth it?
Right.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess the question would be, do you think the number's too high?
I mean, I understand why the number is what it is. Like, I think it's 80% of the games or something like that, or 75% of the games, but it's more just having it's everything. It's how the NBA is structured, because again, like we said earlier, there's also contract incentives for hitting those all NBAs, those all stars, those any of those lists. You get paid extra, and you can also make, super max money instead of max money, or instead of the full contracts. And so when it's all tied in like that, it's just, it almost doesn't matter what the number is. It's more just saying, hey, even if it hurts a little bit, can you hurt versus injured is honestly what this conversation becomes, is will you play through being hurt? Obviously, we're not asking you to play through injury, but is still playing through being hurt for an 82 game schedule, is that too much?
Yeah. And I just don't know how you can fix this.
Yeah.
I have no clue, because how can you say to a player, no, you're not that hurt, you should be able to play? They can't say that, so they're just making it blanket.
Exactly.
Which makes sense, but it also is tough on the other side of things. I mean, they would never do this, but I've always kind of thought that, okay, the prime time, you try to police prime time as best you can. You really can't do that either.
Nope.
And then in terms of just, I think TV is a little bit different besides primetime games. If you pay for League Pass or your local team or whatever it is, if somebody doesn't play, they don't play, right?
Yep.
But when it comes to families and everybody that goes into the arena, I just think if a former All-Star, you put whatever limit on it, says they're not going, right, or they're not playing, you give them the option to get their money back.
Mm-hmm.
And they would never do it.
Right.
But that's the only way I see this, because when you see those sad kiddos, and it still doesn't help anything, right? Because that parent who's working 2 jobs and took off this day so they'd be able to take their kid to see the game, you might get that money back, but you're not going to get that experience back and being able to see that player. And that's the one thing nobody has ever been able to say about LeBron James. That man gets on the floor and he plays, right? You might not like his antics on the floor, but he's out there, and he's been out there a lot. So I really don't know what the NBA is going to do.
Yeah.
They tried to be big bad wolf and say, well, you can't do this. And right after that, Devin Booker and a bunch of stars and Bradley Beal and just said, well, we're not playing.
And James Harden too. They had to explain that the other day.
And the Sixers got to deal with the fine or whatever the case is. They said, dude, I'm not going. And then I don't care. Right. Because the other thing is, I guess it makes a little bit more sense, because it's more so going to affect younger players.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So Steph, if you don't feel it,
he's not playing.
He's
not playing.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Right. LeBron, he doesn't need it. That's the problem. And everybody's been, because Kawhi said, I've never played, or I've never not played when I wasn't injured or whatever it is. But Kawhi got the bag. So you're going at a bunch of dudes. Now, maybe it's just for something that might help in the future.
Right.
But the culprits
it's changing the culture.
Right. But the
whatever,
people that have been guilty of this before, they're already paid. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
You think Kawhi cares?
No, not even a little bit.
No. I mean, Devin Booker maybe a little bit, but Devin Booker, I feel like, is just getting it out early and figures he'll play enough, So I think it's going to be something else, man. And the NBA, they have that going on. As much as the NBA is in a very interesting situation, because as much as they're in a great spot, they have some issues that we hope and think that they'll be able to get through. They have an issue, in my opinion. That next phase of the league is a big deal to me. So you have that. You have the resting, which makes these players look entitled and sometimes makes them look spoiled. And then they also have situations where James Harden and guys like that are, slightly above average, but they got a name because of that star power, can just say, I'll sign a contract, but I don't care. That contract means that, when we do Carmichael Dave at the very end, the crossover, and Carmichael Dave rips up the piece of paper, that's what James Harden does to contracts.
Yes.
I will sign this, but this means nothing to me.
Yep.
So I don't know what's going to happen, man. Got to get to a break. When we get back, it's crosstalk time with Whitey and Draper, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Does your dog leave frowny piles of poo around the yard? Did you know that a solid poo is one of the best indicators of your dog's gut health? Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food is made with organic super seaweed and other powerful antioxidants, supporting a healthy digestive system. Real protein is always the first ingredient, plus a blend of essential vitamins and minerals to help support your dog's overall health and well-being. Do their digestion a solid. Literally. Find Supreme Source Premium Dog Food at Safeway, Safe Mart, and Winco, or a local grocery store near you.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey y'all, this is Bill with the Good Guys. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now. Tired of overpriced repairs? Call the Good Guys. Jaw-dropping quote for a new HVAC system? Call the Good Guys. Don't trust the other guys. Call the Good Guys. We offer free second opinions. Family owned and operated, always ready to serve the community. We offer the best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull.
Call 530-GOOD-AIR. License number 1057-618.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins hanging out with one half of the drive, guys.
Hey.
Whitey.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Happy Halloween. Woo!
Yeah, I like the shirt.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's legit.
What's it say? Fright Night Friday Night Theater?
Yes.
Just
Unfamiliar. Unfamiliar.
This was a show that used to be on in Sacramento, and they used to play scary movies, and people have said I look like the guy that used to host it, so that's why I'm wearing a shirt.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Chase Young to the Niners?
Good idea, right? Can't hurt. Can't hurt. I mean, we'll see how much it helps.
Would you say you were expecting something today?
Yes.
Something big, like that big?
Yeah, especially
from the
because
Niners specifically.
yesterday, somebody, I forget who, you guys probably talked about it. Somebody at Bleacher Report said the Commanders are asking people if they want Sweat and Chase Young. They're not just taking calls. They were actively, according to this report, hey,
shopping.
So I figured at that point, all right, there's a pretty good chance the Niners are going to get something done with one of those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. How about that? And I think I saw too that Josh Harris, I believe, is the owner of both the Commanders and the 76ers, who both made massive deals today.
Wow.
So just a little interesting tidbit.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really knows why the Niners weren't able to get pressure with who they already had, but the Niners just decided we're not going to try to figure that out. We're just going to add another guy.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is that's been going on for a while because that's why they brought in Cleveland Ferrell. Because last year they didn't get the pressure.
Well, then they brought in Randy Gregory.
Yes.
Again.
Yes. So it's been an ongoing
on
issue.
Hargrave as well.
Yes, yes.
You know, basically, it's almost right. It's almost as if, you know, my dad, whenever the car would be messed up, he had a guy, right? But the guy, every time we would take the car, something else would go wrong like 2-3 months later, but we get a discount. It was a good deal. And then eventually I just said, Dad, we got to take it to a real place, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that the Niners have, they had a guy. They thought they had a guy to fix their car, even though you don't know what's wrong with the car, but you got to get it fixed. And they finally decided to take it to a legit place and get it taken care of. And that place is the Chase Young Enterprise.
Well,
So,
we'll see. We'll see.
see.
They could have used some corner help. Have you heard the rumor that there was something else they might have done, but somebody, I'm not even going to, okay.
Yes.
Maybe
we
you guys
saw.
went into more details.
Adoree Jackson
Yeah.
allegedly is.
But this is not confirmed yet, right?
No, it's done. It didn't happen.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's it's not officially confirmed that deal was going to happen, but there is some, like, someone did put it out there and, you know, put their name on it. So I guess what if in 2023, who knows what counts as like an official report? Yeah.
They needed pass rush help. They needed offensive line help. They needed corner help. So 1 out of 3, we'll see.
Yeah.
You go into these seasons and you're thinking, wow. And look, we all do it. You're not really looking at the trenches. You're looking at, wow, look at their skill position players. They have the reigning defensive player of the year, and they go out and get another really good D-line upgrade from the Eagles. And I think people are just confused for you to say, Whitey. I think out of that group, the only name or the only position I think that we all would have agreed with at the beginning of the season would have been the cornerback. Right. And now you're at, so I mean, maybe offensive line a little bit, but you're thinking, okay. And then the Trent Williams injury doesn't help, but it just feels like this thing has escalated very quickly to where the Niners had a Super Bowl roster that wasn't perfect, but very good, to where they didn't have enough time to get everything they needed to get done at the trade deadline.
Right. Yeah. It switched so quick. It
Yeah.
went from, exactly. Like you said, we have all the necessary pieces. We're playing great to all of a sudden, I think we have to make a move today or else we might let this thing slip. And I don't know if it's true or not. Like, I really don't think that the Niners really fell that far from grace, but again, I think that that's huge credit to John Lynch for even being proactive and not letting it get to a situation where we find out if it's a real slip or not. Because if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, it's not a passive thing. You can't just say, yeah, we brought in the guys we brought in the offseason, and we're going to hope that the moves that we made 6 months ago are going to pay off for us. You gotta continue to add talent, and it's a cliche, but you really can never be satisfied.
You guys remember this? 2 years ago, Odell Beckham Jr. was available, and the 49ers had interest, but their record was so bad at the time that Odell Beckham Jr. was like, I don't want to go there. And John Lynch had to say, yeah, we're just not right now. We're not an attractive
destination.
Yeah. And then, of course, they took off from there. Wow. But that happened just a couple years ago.
Wow. And now Odell in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Whitey, we've been talking a lot of Halloween stuff on here, and I have to get your opinion on at least this.
Yeah.
What's the cutoff for trick-or-treating?
Well, I think I personally may have trick-or-treated around 13, and I think that's too old.
That's what I said. High school. I said right around when you get to high school.
Just let them have fun.
Alan's like 25. You know,
no, I said
if you got a costume, you're good.
High school. I said 15.
I don't really mind how old you are as long as you put something into the costume. Like people that come with like you know that put a ski mask over it, trick or treat. Like no, no. That's not. Give me something to work with.
I think I agree. I think as long as you put the necessary effort into the costume, at the end of the day, I'm not going to reject you. I think that's really what it comes down.
I mean, wearing a shirt.
I'm going to look at you funny if you have a mustache and a beard that's longer than mine, and you're trying to get a Milky Way, but you know I'll still give you the candy
with a spider on it. No, that's not going to.
I'm Spider-Man. You know, I have this little
just give them
rubber
some candy,
spider,
man.
Yeah,
and just keep it pushing.
You know what drives kids? Well, it doesn't drive them crazy. They can't handle it. The trick or treat is the whole thing where people come up trick or treat, and then you give them a treat so they don't play a trick on you. So it's a question, trick or treat. So sometimes kids will come up trick or treat. I'll say, trick. And they don't know what to do. They're like, Mommy,
he's not giving us candy.
Just leave them alone.
Give me Snickers.
Just leave them alone, man.
I'm trying to teach the kids, Alan.
Whitey's trying to pass out apple slices at his door. He's that house. He's like, you know,
how about an eraser?
Candy will ruin your teeth.
Here's some celery. You ever had ants on a log? Here's some ants on a log for you.
You know, the worst is those. You ever seen those? They're like plastic rings with a spider on them.
Yes.
It's like, come on.
Yeah. That's the spider that bit me. I'm Spider-Man. Well, we also were talking about a little bit back this morning in that crosstalk about best costume you've ever pulled off.
Mustard.
You were Mustard.
Yes.
Colonel Mustard?
No, I was a bottle of French's mustard.
Wow. We need
like
photos.
DJ Mustard?
Yeah.
This was yellow sweats, and my wife and my sister-in-law helped me, and I had like a funnel on top. You know,
wow.
A little cone head or
But
something.
it was when I was in radio already. So we're on stage like, hey, and people see the funnel, and they have candy. They passed out candy, which you don't do.
Right.
So guess what people decided?
We're trying to shoot it. Yeah.
So I was like, poosh, poosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But it was a good costume.
Chris?
I have never pulled off anything really that spectacular. Shocker. Not really a big dress up and go all out for Halloween guy.
That also tracks.
It tracks. It definitely tracks.
That also checks out.
Yeah,
Simone?
very corny, very cringe. Yeah, that's what I think.
Hit you with your own very cringe, very corny.
It's fair.
Simone?
I have a
Probably
ton.
French Simone, right?
Yeah, no, I got a whole closet full of costumes. I mean, my God. Probably my Game of Thrones is my strongest. You know, that's the one I spent the most money on for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
The Red Priestess, to be specific.
Really?
Wow.
Melisandre.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Well, earlier, I don't know if you heard Whitey, but me and two of my buddies, their brothers, and then all of our significant others, we pulled off the cast of Happy Gilmore.
Really?
So I was Chubbs, obviously, and then my wife was the alligator or the crocodile.
Fantastic.
I was Chubbs last year.
Who was
That's
Bob
what they said.
Parker?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Bob Barker didn't make the cut. We had Happy, we had Happy, we had Shooter.
Price is wrong.
Yeah. We had
Maybe the greatest line from that.
We had Shooter and we had the whole crew. I also one year was Jack in the Box, like from the restaurant.
Yes.
So you there's a balloon, paper mache the balloon, right? And then let it dry and then pop the balloon and then painted it and
incredible.
Outstanding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like you probably could have just bought
this
that.
year. I mean, you tell us all these great stories, and then I mean, that's
Well, I'm washed up now. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a long time. Oh yeah, did you hear? I flopped at a Halloween party when I tried to be Tim Anderson. I wore a Tim Anderson jersey and gave myself a black eye. Nobody got it. That's a good one though.
Sure, you keep telling yourself that.
Wow.
Whitey, who's the scariest player that you've ever or had not go against? Obviously, you're not an athlete, but like, who's the scariest player?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm sorry, I've never seen Whitey's basketball reference card.
I've ever seen her like interviewed or what?
Yeah, just seen play in general. Who's the player
I
that
was
put
on
the most
floor
fear
once, as you guys may have been. Happened to be on the floor when Shaq was on the floor. This is when he was with Boston.
Yeah.
And just standing there and looking, I was like,
just a
oh
monster.
my,
especially in the Boston years. Yeah. Where he wasn't trying to cut weight.
Right. I mean, it was terrifying.
No, he was doing whatever he wanted. All right, Whitey. Well,
I almost called him mom.
No.
Okay, mom. Bye.
Drive guys up next. More pictures, and there will be pictures of Whitey in the mustard costume as well. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m.
on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hi, I can help whoever's
Cooper's overnight shipping company has to deliver the goods.
Ship these gifts to your grandkids.
They need a logistics